Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Breaking news, the Jets are the first team to land an interview with former Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. Should he be the number one target for the Jets? We'll talk about that and much more. Fireman Ed joins us in his weekly spot on the show. It is the Jake Asman Show, and it starts right now. Man.
This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Click that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel before we talk about Vrabel and we bring on the great Fireman Ed. Reminder, we're presented by Huga House. See the hat I'm wearing? If you want one 15% off, go to their website, hugahouse.com, and use the promo code ASMAN at checkout. Buy one hat from Huga House, and you will save 15%. Buy a second hat from Huga House, and guess what? That hat, 30% off. They have winter hats now as well. So check it out, hugahouse.com, promo code ASMAN at checkout to save yourself 15% off. Joining us right now in his weekly spot on the show is our guy, Fireman Ed. Ed, one home game to go, and before we even talk about that, let's get right into it. I wasn't expecting this news this morning, but the Jets and Mike Vrabel are meeting today. He is the first known interview with a coach that I think most of the fan base would be thrilled if they hired. I know they interviewed Ron Rivera yesterday, but Mike Vrabel is in a different league as far as top candidates go. In fact, I would argue he's the number one candidate that is out there, and the Jets get a chance to interview him first before any other team with an opening.
I would agree. I mean, Vrabel is the goods, right? We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I mean, I think they did their homework. I think Mike Tannenbaum, obviously he's referring everything. So I believe that's a big part of why the process took place. The process, Mike Tannenbaum and the process. Well, let's see. Let's see where it goes. I'm anxious to see. If you're really serious about Vrabel being your head coach and let him pick the GM, which is one of the few guys that you would actually let, the reverse happen. You wouldn't let many coaches pick the GM or have an input into the GM position. I think Vrabel would be one of them. So to me, if they're that serious about Vrabel, don't let him out of the building. Don't let him out of the building.
Yeah, it's interesting because certain candidates, you're interviewing them. A guy like Mike Vrabel, he's interviewing you. You have to sell Mike Vrabel on why he should be interested in your job. The selling points I look at it is, well, the roster's pretty talented. Mm-hmm. You get a chance to potentially pick the GM, Mike, that you want to work with, because the Jets are one of the few teams right now that is searching for both general manager and head coach. So, look, you get the first crack at it here. I know everyone's going to say just hire him, but Mike Vrabel's not going to take the job right away. He's going to wait to see what other openings become available, speak with them. If anything, it's leverage for him too. But Mike Vrabel is basically interviewing you, so the Jets better have their process down for what they're selling Vrabel on. Because if you want this guy, you're going to have to sell him on the idea of him being your head coach, not the other way around.
Well, I would agree with that. I mean, especially after the article came out in The Athletic, right, only a couple of weeks ago. So you got a lot of question marks on the ownership and what is exactly going on in the building. And, guys like Peter Schrager talking about they got to get rid of the leaks in the building. I mean, when you hear, Peter Schrager is a good friend of the Johnson brothers, so, I mean, he's mentioning leaks. There's a lot of things that have to be addressed. For Mike Vrabel to take this job, I would think there would be some, things in that contract that would say certain things have to, you have to abide by. There's got to be some different things that got to be written in there for, we'll see. I mean, to me, I just don't think the Patriot job's secured with Mayo. We'll see about that. So, it'll all pan out. If Woody and Chris were able to land Vrabel, that'd be a huge hire. That would inspire the fan base. I don't think there's any question about it. I mean, the fan base would be fired up for Mike Vrabel. As far as my thoughts are, I'm not sure that if the Patriot job opened up, he wouldn't take that.
That's the question, right? What does Mike Vrabel want? Does he want a team with overall talent? Does he believe Drake May, if that job opens up, is the answer long term at quarterback? I mean, I just don't look at the Patriot job as that appealing of a job, given how cheap their ownership group has been for a long time, how bad the roster is. It just depends if he loves Drake May. If he thinks Drake May is going to be a great quarterback, then you could argue it's a better job. But we'll see. And there's also uncertainty whether that job even opens up. I was reading the ESPN Patriots reporter Mike Reese this morning, and he's not sure if Mayo's going to get fired or not. Like, there's a chance that Robert Kraft doesn't want the perception to be they're a clown show and firing a coach after 1 year. But the argument against that is, well, if you fire Gerard Mayo and you bring in Mike Vrabel, do you think the fan base up there would care? So it's going to be interesting. The other team that's connected to Vrabel the most is the Raiders, assuming they move on from Antonio Pierce. But why would you, if you're Mike Vrabel, go to that team where you're not picking high enough right now to get one of the top two quarterbacks, and you're in a division with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, and now Sean Payton, who's turned the Broncos around? Like, to me, that would make no sense. So I still look at Mike Vrabel's options as far as like the teams that could offer him the most. I think the fact that the Jets could give him basically his choice of a GM he's comfortable working with, that to me is a huge selling point for Woody Johnson during this process.
Well, I agree with that. The GM position does make a difference. Like in Oakland, not Oakland, in the Vegas, they got Telesco out there. So, I agree with that. And the Saints job is going to be brutal. You got Mickey Loomis there, and they're so over the cap. The Saints are so over the cap. It's brutal. So I think if the Patriot job does not open up, I think that Vrabel, we got a shot at Vrabel. But I told you what I feel. I'd like to see Vrabel or Gruden. And now you're hearing things about Chucky. Chucky's finally looks like he's going to get some sniffs, which is only right that he should. John Gruden should be in football. He should be a head coach. And I'd have no problem being Chucky. I'd love to see Chucky be our coach.
It's Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed too.
Not why, but it's a nice clip. But I just think John Gruden's a great coach and great offensive mind, and he's just he commands the room. We need somebody like Vrabel and Gruden are the guys that I think can come in here and deal with this media that we have. I just think they have a pedigree. They set the tone, and they'll set the tone in the building and get it the way they want it. The first thing they're going to have to do with this ownership is make sure that they're not meddling in it's the first time you heard this. We've talked about it in nausea, right? Woody Johnson getting involved this year was incredible. Like, just what went on. And I'm not saying anything about Joe Douglas and Salah. They have plenty of time. I get it. But he don't need to be involved in the day-to-day activities of the football operation. I mean, come on. I mean, it was a way to do this, and that wasn't the way to do it. What he did now, this is why you see the collapse of the Jets, just a total collapse between firing Salah and then getting rid of Douglas. It's pandemonium in the building. It's pandemonium in that building right now. Wait till you hear the stories that come out of that building as this thing goes on. And when the last game happens Sunday, you're going to really hear a bunch of stuff there. It's got to be ridiculous. So these guys coming in to coach, that's got to be part of their contract. There got to be clauses in there There has to be. If you're the agent for these guys, you're not gonna have the clauses in there. Come on,
100%. Well, this is where you basically say to the candidates, hey, like, here's what happened. Here's why I did what I did. But now I'm hiring you. I have faith in you. Yes. You're going to have autonomy to run it your way. That's why I like the fact that the Jets have started their process before any other team. Get good at being able to answer the question that if you're Mike Vrabel, if you're Brian Flores, if you're anyone who sees what's out there about the Jets and is going to have questions, what's your answer to any question where they say, hey, I read the story in The Athletic. What's true? Like, be prepared. Have an answer for that. You know, if I was in the interview process with Woody, if I was Jets PR, I would say, here's what you say. Here's how you handle that. You say, hey, I thought we had a good team. I didn't want the season to slip. It was a mistake. I still believe in the talent here. We just need the right leader, and I want to hire the right leader and let them do their job. Like, you got to be prepared to what you're saying to these candidates, and the more you do these interviews, the better your process, I would think, is. So I hope they could get it right, because if you're trying to get Vrabel in particular, I think he's the best coach that's out there. So I look at it like you're really trying to sell him on the job, not the other way around. So you got to be prepared to answer any tough question these guys are going to ask you about what's true in these stories, how much involvement are you going to have? Are you going to let me do my job? Are you going to give me autonomy to make decisions? Like, that's the bottom line. And also, that involves Aaron Rodgers too. Like, I don't want to hear, oh, Woody doesn't like Aaron, so he's not going to be here. It shouldn't be up to Woody Johnson. It should be up to the next regime that's coming in to decide what their plan is at quarterback. That's got to be something that they iron out as well in these interviews.
I agree with all of that, Jake. I mean, you know, Vrabel wants to know that the franchise is stable. Okay, Woody Johnson in the past, listen, I will give it. Woody and Chris has never got involved in the day-to-day activity. Okay. They're obviously, you're the owner, you monitor, and you know you're being told what's going to happen. But you got to let the experts, the football operation, handle it, right? Okay, so I give him a pass. This year, he did what he had to do. He hasn't addressed what actually went on in the articles with The Athletic, which we've talked about. So we don't really know what's accurate, what's not. Okay, so you are selling Vrabel on this franchise. There's no doubt about it. As far as, listen, it'll all pan out. This is the reason he got Mike Tannenbaum involved, which was a good move. You know, I mean, but there's also, you know, when you look at Mike's, you know, and Hank is on ESPN. I mean, he's making commentary on a lot of different things. I mean, that is it's just a slope, a very tough slope there. It's a very fine line. What he can say, what he can't say, and he's referring an owner to get a new head coach and GM. So, like, there's parts of me going, what the hell is happening? You know, it's kind of like Brady being the commentator on Fox, and he's got a part ownership in the Raiders.
Right. He should not be allowed to be an owner and then be a commentator. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's just, you know, some wacky things going on. I just hope they get it right. You know, the fan base deserves it. You know, Vrabel's a tough guy. I read the Athletic article with Zach Rosenblatt this morning. Love Vrabel. Vrabel's a everyday guy. Yeah, he's when you read it, Jake, you're going to get a kick out of it because, you know, he hangs out in, he frequents a bar over there in Tennessee, in Nashville. You know, he's got his little boot in the back under his 94 uniform for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So he sits under there. He has his cocktails, you know, his beers and stuff, and mixes it up with the crew in Nashville, which is nice. You know, he's a regular guy. You can see he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy, is what Vrabel is, and he's a no nonsense guy. He ain't gonna put up with any bullshit.
He's also a genius football guy. He knows the rule book better than anyone. You want a great Mike Vrabel stat? The New York Jets, I think, are 5-23 in games where they have extra rest coming in. Mike Vrabel's record after the bye week is 6-0. You want to talk about a coach that's prepared?
He's prepared.
That's Mike Vrabel. So people look at him like he's just big, like rah-rah, meathead guy because of his physical stature and how he played. He's more than that. He's a great CEO leader. He's someone that could actually build a program, which is what this team desperately needs more than anything else. They need a leader, Ed. They need someone that's going to come in and hold guys accountable. There's no nonsense. And basically, have the balls to push back on any BS that's in that building, and we know that entire building on Monday needs to be fumigated.
Listen, he commands the room. You want a guy that comes in and commands the room. He gets the attention. And, he's attention to detail. So he's always on. When you read that article, it kind of explains a lot of what he's about, and I'm sure he got a lot of it from Belichick. Belichick is, cross the T's, dot the I's. All right. So, we know that. I mean, he's a miserable bastard, but Belichick's a miserable bastard. They say Vrabel's a good guy, everything I read about him, and I've read a lot about him through the years because, I'm into, it's not just the Jets. I love football. So you always love the personalities, and he's a tough guy, and he mixes it up. So I'd love to see him be the Jet head coach. It'd be great. We'll see if it happens. I have my doubts because of the Patriots up there, and
root for the Patriots to win on Sunday, Ed. Root for them to win. Drake May plays well, and it's like, okay, well, look at what New England did down the stretch. They went into Buffalo, and they were super competitive, and now they won a game against the Bills when nothing was on the line. They showed fight for Gerard Mayo, and they keep him. Like, that's the key.
Well, it is the key. Honestly, I think if we're going to lose out on Vrabel, I think it'll probably be to the Patriots. If it's not, then I think we have a legitimate shot at him. I think we have a legitimate shot because of what you said. He can help pick the GM. He's one of the few guys that you would, like to hear what he has to say, right? And he commands the room. He checks all the boxes. Everything that we're looking for as Jet fans, Vrabel does check all the boxes. So him and Gruden check all the boxes. So I'd like 1 and 1A. If I wound up with Vrabel or Gruden and this team, I'd be thrilled. It would give you something to look forward to because Lord knows after this season this is about the lowest I've seen it. And this fan base, like come Sunday, you're going to see that because that's what the articles are going to be Sunday. Sunday, the articles are going to be all about the Jet fans didn't come to the game, which you can't blame them at all. Not at all. And there'll be all Dolphin fans there. That's what you're going to see Sunday. You can see all Dolphin fans at the stadium, at Jet Life. I'll be there, but we'll see how many Jet fans show up because Lord knows they've done nothing to give us any hope. That's for sure.
I talked to Mike Vrabel. Mike said, he said, I would take the Jets job. I just don't know who the GM would be. I'd have to like the GM.
Make him like the GM, Woody. Let's go. It's on.
Hey, listen, Jake, I know it's unusual and out of the realm. Why can't they hire him? Why can't they hire him now? Well, I'm asking you a question. Why can they not hire him now? They fulfilled the Rooney Rule. They fulfilled everything that they needed to. They could offer him the coach's job today. I don't give a shit there's a game left. Because if that's the case, if you're worried about all of that bullshit, then why have them in the building when they're practicing and everybody's there? So what's the difference? What's the difference that you're going to have him in the building? Hire him. What's stopping you from hiring him?
I like it.
What's stopping you?
I like it. I would do it. I mean, I'm right there with it. It got me thinking. Imagine they hired him, and then Sunday they flash to Woody Johnson's box, and there's Mike Vrabel. It'd be like, of all the dramatic things I've ever seen, it'd be like Roger Clemens and George Steinbrenner's box back in 2007. Get me Vrabel in the box and fire up you and the other, 2,000 Jet fans that are at this game,
Well, that's the truth, though. I mean, honestly, like if you really are committed and you really feel strong about it, right? And you're getting the input from Mike Tannenbaum and Spielman and, the number one target, because obviously you're going into a game plan. Where are you at? What GMs, what head coaches, where is he? He's got to be at the top. If he's at the top of your list, which more than likely we could argue, more than likely he probably is, right? You would say that Vrabel's the number one candidate. No,
I would agree. I would agree. The one thing with what you're saying though is he's gonna not want to just take any job. He's gonna want to interview for other gigs. Like you could try. I mean, I'm with you if you love the guy. I mean,
you're the one that just said it's a valuable job because we don't have no GM. We have no GM. What the jobs that are out there right now? You got the Saints and the
Bears,
the Raiders, and the Bears. All right. I don't believe he's going to go to the Bears. I don't believe that. I think it's going to be Ben Johnson. That's who I think's going there. We'll see. I don't think he's going to take. I don't think it's going to be the Bears. And the Bears have a GM also. They got Poles, right? Ryan Poles. So I mean, this is the ideal job as far as what a man could want. Right? We do have the things that you can offer. Look at the roster. The roster is tremendous. Now, don't be surprised if he got hired that he would have Rodgers back. He would be the bridge quarterback, despite what other people, despite our media trying to drive him out. That's the narrative. The narrative is drive him out. He's a cancer. He's a problem. This is where all the problems are coming from, is Aaron Rodgers. Nothing else. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's amazing. Amazing to me. Amazing. Because he's on McAfee, because he's outspoken, he's a bad guy. He's not a good guy. His numbers don't say he's a bad guy. Now, did he play well on Sunday? Absolutely not. He played horrible on Sunday. Horrible. But that defense set the tone right away. The opening drive, Jake, 3 defensive penalties on the opening drive. 7-0. Down the field they go in Buffalo. You want to be down 7-0 in Buffalo? Come on. Ridiculous. I mean, come on, man. Listen, you get Vrabel in here, he's going to have a bridge quarterback, and it's probably going to be Aaron Rodgers.
I think he might be the one coach that, because Aaron's got a previous relationship with the guy, he's talked about it. It could be Aaron on a pay cut. So we'll see. Now, yes, I've been checking into something, Ed. So I see Fiore super chatted it here. I confirmed it as well. The Rooney Rule now requires 2 minority candidates for both GM and coach. So they couldn't even hire Vrabel yet if they wanted to. Now they could have a handshake agreement with him that, hey, you're our number one guy. So they could try and do something like that. But I think the process is going to play out as fun as it would be.
Minority candidates for each one, GM and coach?
Each. So GM-wise, the minority candidate they interviewed yesterday was Louis Riddick, who used to be in a front office, has now been on ESPN for about a decade. And yesterday they spoke with Ron Rivera. So that's a minority candidate for the head coaching spot. So you still got 2 more candidates to go here. I just confirmed that in 2022, they expanded the Rooney Rule to include women as part of the minority candidate definition and also include the QB coach position. NFL teams are now required to interview at least 2 minority candidates for vacant head coach, GM, and coordinator positions. 1 minority candidate required for the quarterback coach position, with many prospective head coaches beginning their careers in the quarterback room. The ruling is expected to help increase the hiring of diverse head coaches in the future. So they need 1 more for each. Yeah, this is not something that I think is going to happen as quick as every Jet fan wants it.
Well, now that you confirmed everything, then I would agree with that. Then it's not going to happen. So they're doing a due diligence, and we'll see where it pans out. We'll see where it goes. I want to see them. I want to see them bring Gruden in here. That's what I want. I want them to bring Gruden in here, and we'll see. Those are the 2 guys I want. I know you want Brian Flores. I'm not sold on Brian Flores. Not that I don't want him, but
what does Flores do that you don't like? To me, he's exactly what they need.
Nothing that he doesn't like. I just don't think he commands the room like those other 2 guys will. I think that you have to be able to deal with this media, and
I think he could though. I like that he's a Brooklyn guy. He hates the Dolphins. He's got a previous experience.
I'm not. Listen, Brian Flores is on a list of 4 or 5 guys that I would take on this team, but he's not.
Where does Rex fall on your list?
My list would be Vrabel, Gruden, 1 and 1A, either one. Number 3 will be Dougie Peterson from the Jaguars, who I think is going to get fired, and I'd love to see Doug Peterson. Love to see Doug Peterson come here. And then it would be either Rex or Flores. will be the other two guys. You know, if McCarthy gets fired, it'd be McCarthy, and Doug Peterson will be 3-4, and then you go Flores and Rex Ryan. But those are the guys. I want established guys. I want guys that have won in this league. I want guys that have won consistently, that can go on that podium when they have a press conference and they command the room. They command the room, and you got to be able to do that with this media. This media is so treacherous. They're so bad, man. They're so bad. The narrative. I'm glad that Joe Benigno is actually acknowledging all of this. You know, he's part of the media, but you know, that's how I feel.
He's a fan, but there's a difference. There's different types of media, right?
Yes.
Like there's people who are on a beat who cover the team who are supposed to be objective, and then there's like me or Joe, people who are on radio who are fans of the teams. It's different.
I agree. Different. I'm just saying he deals with you guys get to deal with them more than an average fan does. We don't get to deal with them like you guys can. You can deal with them a little more. You can see I get to deal with them a little bit just because I've been around a long time. But I know the treacherousness of them. They're brutal. And not all of them, but a lot of them. Most of our beat writers are tough. They're tough. They have a negative vibe. They have negative vibe when we went to 2 championship games back to back. You could pull articles up then talking about it. So I'm not talking out of school. I know what I'm saying. I can bring them up. It's very easy to see what was written in the past. And I told you they should, when you have a guy like Peter Schrager saying about leaks in the building, it's a problem, man. You gotta have another building. I keep telling you the same thing. It's the truth.
The outhouse.
You should have another building. There should be another building for the media and anybody that's not part of football operations. If you're not part of football operations, you shouldn't be in One Jets Drive. You shouldn't be in that building. There's no way you should be in that building. And that's how I feel. I just feel that way. Very adamant. I'm adamant about that because I think that's how you stop the leaks. I think these guys are talking to janitors and every other mother that's in there, whoever else is in there that's getting some information, because there's plenty of people that are talking in that building. There's no doubt about it. So it's sad is what it is. It's sad. So
I'll give you a little Mike Vrabel with the media if the Jets were to hire him.
Because it sucks to lose, Gentry.
Trey, ever need to show you anything?
Did you have another thought or no? I'm just curious.
Well,
it fucking sucks. Losing. Awful. That's why I want to win. Because you don't sleep. You want to win for the players that bust their tail. That's it.
That's the guy right there.
That is the guy.
He'll put Brian Costello in a locker. All right, he'll give Samini a wedgie.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's so true. It's so true. That whole clip is perfect. It's perfect. I've seen it before. It's perfect. Jake.
That's the guy. That's the guy they need. They need someone that can stand up to everyone.
Jake, if I was running that team, I'm just telling you, if I was running that team, that's exactly how I would deal with them. Okay? They have a job to do. I would be cordial with them. I would know how to talk to them, especially off air. I would talk to them, try to get a relationship with them to a certain point.
Be respectful.
Give them respect. Give them, they are human beings. But I would make it a point that you understand where I'm coming from. You know where the line is drawn. That's where it all comes down to. Where is the line drawn? Okay? It's sort of like what I told you a couple of weeks ago when that article came out in The Athletic, when they brought up Woody's kids. There's a line drawn. You don't cross that line. What are you doing? You're bringing his kids into it. What are you doing? You make an example. He's got a ball in the locker room. Like, that kid can't live that down. Do you understand? There's a certain point that you got to say, you know what? I know certain things, but let me just, there's a line, right? Isn't that what respect is all about in life? holding the door for the next person coming in, when there's a line formed that you don't go in front of the person, that's why there's, respect and there's rules to be abided by, right? I mean, that's what society's about. This is what you want in a head coach. You want him to get respect from all of these guys and women that are causing problems. There's got to be a line drawn, and Vrabel can absolutely do that. So can Gruden.
I'm with you.
Once Gruden gets past the first month of all the emails and addressing all that bullshit and say, you are a human being and I made mistakes and I'm sorry and I apologize and, I'd like to move forward. I do have a history in the league of being a pretty adequate football coach. I've won a world championship. These are the pedigrees that you want to see. And then you draw the line. It's the way it is.
You're watching this live right now. Hit that like button. There's over 700 of you in here live. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Make it 1,000.
Let's go. You won't find a channel that talks more Jets than this one each and every day, year-round. Thank you to everyone who is maybe new, that is just finding us as the Jets have the first opportunity to speak with maybe the best coaching candidate out there, and, of course, Mike Vrabel. We're doing another raffle. If you gift a membership or have a $20 super chat or more, you're entered in our raffle. You get your name on a little ticket here. We pick some winners. This will be raffle number 10 that we've done. One of the big prizes, a Jet Mini helmet with the new logo that we will send to you. Also have a Jet winner hat right here. Items from my merch store, a Gustbuster umbrella, and a bunch of other Jet swag, including, Ed, I know how badly you want this, your favorite quarterback ever, an autographed Zach Wilson trading card with his own jersey on it. I know you can't wait for that prize, huh?
Zach. Oof. What are you going to do? Become an Asmaniac.
Let's go. So shout out to everyone who's tuned in live right now. Quick clarification from Nate. He actually works as a New York Jets custodian, and he says we prefer to be called custodians, Ed, not janitors.
Love it. You're a custodian. My bad. My fault. My fault.
All right, some super chats here for Ed. Let me just get caught up here. NYC says, do the Jets meet the Rooney Rule? No, they do not. As we covered earlier, they need one more minority candidate for general manager and coach. Rivera counts for coach, and Louis Riddick counts for general manager, who they interviewed officially yesterday. Dan, the Jet fan, says, Greg Zuerlein robbed of the Curtis Martin Award. So the Jets announced their team awards this morning. Jamie Sherwood was voted team MVP, the Curtis Martin Award. Friend of the show, had him on the radio yesterday, and he was awesome. Said his preference is to resign with the Jets. That's going to be up for the next, GM and coach, of course. But imagine the odds you would have been given if you bet on Jamie Sherwood to be voted team MVP at the start of the season.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that, but I did think he was going to have a good year. I did think that. I thought. I told my buddy Arnold. I said, Arnold, look out for number 44 this year. He's going to have a big year. Because they groomed him well. The one thing, Salah, he's a good defensive coach, man. There's no doubt. Good. There's no doubt. And, Ulbrich was just over his head because he's overwhelmed with everything else that's going on. I mean, that's a whole nother story. I mean, I seen you going off on him yesterday, which I agreed with his statements. Those statements that he's making, he makes you look, and I don't think he does it on purpose, but he actually makes you feel like you're an illiterate as a Jet fan. Like, we're not watching the same things.
Do you think we're dumb? He's trying to talk about how great the culture is because they showed fight. They lost 40-0 on Sunday.
Horrible.
My God.
Horrible. I mean, 16 penalties. 16 penalties. What are we doing? What are we doing? It drives. This season cannot end fast enough. It can't. I mean, it's been a disaster all the way around. Come on, Jake. It's been a disaster. And then when you hear those comments, and you hear when he tried to actually praise Hassan Reddick, it made me nuts. I was losing my mind. I was reading that, and I wanted to break my iPad. I was like, this guy. What are you saying? What you should say is he needs to put a mask on because he robbed us of $9.5 million. He robbed us. He's not in shape. He doesn't give a rat's ass. He's got, when you look at his tape, remember what they always say. You put your name on that tape. So these last games are very important. Well, you could just do that from the start with him. From the start. All right, well, maybe he wasn't in shape. He had to get in shape. Well, now we're in week 18, and he still ain't in shape. So what are you talking about?
He's one of the worst moves ever.
What happened to being a pro? What happened to being a pro? It's not like the guy doesn't have the talent. You can't say the guy doesn't have the talent, Jake. The guy has the talent. It's the wherewithal. How much do you want it? No, you're in it for the $9.5 million is what you're in it for. You know, what happened to the name on the back of the jersey? What happened to that? I mean, there's a lot of guys there. What happened to the name on the back of the jersey? I mean, come on, what frauds? You got a lot of frauds on that team. There's a lot. Now, there's a lot of real good players that are playing their heart out. A lot of real good players. But let's call it like it is. What we've seen this year has been a disaster. An absolute but it starts with the owner. The owner did what he did, and it trickled down. It went right down the line. He thought he was doing something right by putting Salah and, getting rid of him. And it absolutely backfired because there was no real game plan. Okay, well, when I fire him, who's going to actually take over? He obviously, he thought Olbrich could take over, and this is what I mean, Jake, when we talk about having all the, knowing what's going on in the locker room and having all those relationships and knowing football and, everything that goes along with it, with, the personalities and, who's a leader and who's going to, needs to be coached up and that. And you don't know all of that unless you're in the locker room. And Woody obviously didn't know that because, look, it's pandemonium. And then he fires the GM, and we come to find out, if it's correct with the Athletic, that Joe Douglas didn't have any say from February. How is that possible?
I don't believe that aspect of it, though. I don't.
But then address it. Address it, because we're still talking about it.
Yeah. Well, but this is their opportunity.
Don't we deserve that as fans? But we give our money for next year. We give the money, but we don't deserve an explanation for what's going on currently. What are we going to wait for? What are we waiting for? Like, we're over here talking about the Jets. That's why I'm on the show. And I come to find out from the Athletic, who stands by what they said. They stand by what they said. That Joe Douglas didn't have any say from before the season started. How is that possible? Do you know that?
Ed, one thing on the Joe Douglas stuff, right? And Rex said this to me the other day on radio when I had him on. Like, it says in that article, the Jerry Jeudy trade was nixed because of Madden ratings. But then in the same paragraph, it talks about how Woody referenced John Simpson's Madden rating, but they still signed him. So I'm not buying it. That article, a lot of it reads like a GM who was 30-64, who's trying to get a soft landing spot elsewhere and has friends in the media who are trying to help him. They failed. No one was saying anything about, Woody Johnson meddling when they signed Tyron Smith, who was washed. They signed Mike Williams, who was washed. They got everything they wanted, and they failed. That's the bottom line. And Joe Douglas screwed up the kicking situation. He refused to get a backup last year.
I agree.
I'm sick of it. If you want to blame Woody for anything, it is inexcusable that he fired the head coach 5 games in. Either Salah should have been out at the end of last year, or he should have been given more than 5 games this year. Woody cannot get up from that. But I think when we talk about these Athletic stories, we give Douglas and this coaching staff a pass, and they sucked. They had more than enough time to figure this out. More than enough time.
Jake, I agree, but 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Agreed. But I think multiple things can be true here. That's the thing.
Both can be true. But all I know is that if I'm the owner of the team, or whoever I am, and someone does not 1 article, not 2 articles, 3 articles, and bashes the organization, and you don't address it, that's a problem.
That's where the leaks come from, though. It comes from people who have been fired or about to be fired. And when the reporters from that story say, well, everyone's saying we just got this from Douglas or Saleh or Mike LaFleur or Rex Hogan. The highly respected Rex Hogan. Make sure we throw that. He's so highly respected, he doesn't have a job right now. But remember, when he was fired, it was the biggest disgrace ever that they could get rid of him. You mean the biggest leak in the building, but I'll continue. And remember, when they say it's from people that are in the building. Yeah, people that are in the building now, but on Monday they're not going to be. Everyone knows everyone's getting fired. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and Woody's just good owner. He's not. But at the end of the day, these guys had more than enough time to fix it, and they didn't. And now what I hope is all these comments from Obrick and all, it's like it just shines light on the type of coach they need, which is a Vrabel, Gruden, Flores. Like they need that type of experienced coach that can hold guys accountable. I think we all agree on that.
We all agree, and I agree on everything you're saying. All I'm saying is when someone bashes me, you need to address it. You don't let that continue. You say, and if it's not accurate, okay, and there is something behind it with Joe Douglas and wanting to get a soft landing, okay, I can believe all of that, but don't let it continue. Don't you owe it to your fan base? Don't you owe it to your fan base? The loyal people that are coming, that are going to show up week in and week out. Don't we get an explanation? How do we not get an explanation? Like, I just don't get that. Listen, I'll stand by what I said. I'm telling you that should have been addressed. Somehow, some way, you need to address it. You don't need to address everything. Just give a statement. Do something. Oh, my God. I can't say this till I'm blue in the face. I mean,
we'll see. We'll see if Woody speaks next week. If he's going to own how big of a disaster this was and vow to get it right. That's all he could say, Ed. And honestly,
yes, I do. I agree with that. I agree with that.
He might speak next week.
He hasn't been in the past. He hasn't been involved in the past. We've watched this team for 25 years.
Not to this extent. Clearly not to this extent.
He's the owner. He has the right to do certain things. But as far as when you're going to get involved in the football operations on a day-to-day basis, that's a problem, right? And that's what occurred allegedly. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, here's what they could do, right? Actions speak louder than words. Hire a big-time head coach and send a message to the fans. You're sick of losing. Leon Hess was sick of losing after Kotite. He got right and hired Bill Parcells. Mike Vrabel, I'm not saying he's Parcells, but he's an accomplished coach. To me, you want to use an example in this city. Look at the Knicks. How did they turn things around? Dolan hired Leon Rose, who brought in the best coach that was available then in Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau is the same thing as Mike Vrabel. Neither has won a championship, but both have gotten the most out of their teams, are highly respected disciplinarian coaches. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. It's the same thing. Vrabel is Thibodeau. That's the type of coach they need.
What you want is your coach. Here's what you want. And this is what I believe Jeff fans want. They want a coach that's going to come in here and bleed white and green, green and white. You want to buy into what you're doing and forget the past. We're in the future. We're here right now. This is the present. And I don't give a shit what went on there. We're going to take care of this now. And Vrabel's that type of guy. He has an allegiance. He has an honor. He has a respect because that's how he operates in his life. You read the articles about him. You know, I've read more articles about Mike Vrabel through the years because he's a winner. He's a winner. And he dictates himself. He acts accordingly. So, and he doesn't put up with any bullshit. I love guys that don't put up with bullshit. You know, you can't have that. And I think he's one guy. I think Gruden's the other guy. I just do. That's how I feel. And the Jet fan base would be thrilled if we had either one of them. I believe that you're always going to have the guys that are going to hate. Jake, you have your haters. I have my haters. Who cares? Right? You got to believe what you believe. I believe that Vrabel can come in here. That's why I said I didn't realize the Rooney Rule was so extensive. I would have thought, don't let him out of the building. You know, Boomer Esiason said it this morning. Don't let him out of the building. Well, obviously, they got to let him out of the building because the criteria hasn't been met. So that's 100%.
That. I'm posting the link to the Rooney Rule info for those watching live in the chat, so you can read it yourself from the NFL official operations website. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. We got 3 raffle tickets right now. Bobby Midnight gifted a membership. Dan the Jet Fan gifted not 1, but 2 memberships. So they are in our next raffle, which will be early next week at the conclusion of the Jet season. A lot of super chats here coming in. You know, the other thing that's worth noting too, with this whole process is like when you're in like these interviews, right?
Yeah.
This interview today was at the Jet facility. And I saw Peter Schrager note that in the past, when the Jets have conducted interviews, they do it at Woody Johnson's home in Florida. So I like the fact that Vrabel gets to actually see the facility, because the one thing the Jets do have is a state-of-the-art facility. That's like
beautiful.
one of the – you could criticize Woody for many things. He invested a lot into that facility in Florham Park, and that is a selling point for potential GM and coaches for sure. So I do like that the interview is taking place at One Jets Drive.
Jake, Woody spends money. You want to say things about Woody, don't say that, because it's bullshit.
Great.
He puts his money where his mouth is. He does. And there's no doubt about it. But, you know, it is, listen, it's a great move. Vrabel should be there. Any coaching candidate and GM should be in the building to see the building, because the building is state of the art. It's a beautiful facility. You ever see it? You ever gone through it?
I was I got to go a couple times last year for a training camp, so saw it up close.
Were you able to go through the whole facility? They take
Yes.
you in the facility?
Yes, because shout out to Richie from Jets Media. He gave me a VIP pass, so him and I went to the Commanders joint practice, and they walk you through the facility a little bit before they put you in the family section where all that was.
I was
awesome.
fortunate. I was able to see the whole facility, everything, all the meeting rooms, everything. And you know, that one wall where the glass covers the whole building and looks out at the practice facilities. Do you see? I think they still have all the fans on the wall.
Yeah,
like you're at the game. It's beautiful. I mean, they listen. They do a phenomenal job. There's a lot of great people in that building. A lot of great people in One Jets Drive. There's no doubt about it. But you know, it kind of went off the rails this year. I'm hoping to the train gets back on track, and let's get this thing going. I mean, you know, it's so disappointing because of all the we thought. Listen, I didn't make my winter plans this year because I thought we were going to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Okay, so I'm normally out of here in early. I'm out of here this winter. I'm retired and did okay in my life. I'm able to get out of here, and because I don't like the cold, unless we're going to a football game. Then I got no choice.
Today, by the way, Ed, I did see this because you were a big part of this night. Today's the 15-year anniversary. Crazy to say, of the Jets beating the Bengals on Sunday night, the last game of the regular season, last ever game at Giant Stadium to clinch the playoff spot with Rex in year one.
I did see that. I follow New York Jets history. That guy does a great job.
Amazing job.
Whoever does that does a great job. He does.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. He saw me at a college basketball game at the Garden a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, "I saw that was you." I'm like, "Why didn't you say hello?" That guy. Shout out to that guy. He does an amazing job with the account.
Does a great job. Yep. Real phenomenal. I follow it. You know, it's on my timeline on X, and I love it. Listen, that was a great night. That was a great night.
You still cold from that night? That was the coldest night ever.
I'll tell you what. You know what? I took my helmet off, and there's a picture. There's a picture out there that you see the steam coming off my head. I'm on a railing like this, and there's steam coming off my head. One of the photographers has that. I don't know. It's from one of the papers back then. They took a picture. It was actually, I think, on the front page. It was on one of the. It's out there. Anyway, that was a great night. Who knew that Giant Stadium, we would long for that stadium now after we see this catastrophe of what we go to every week. That stadium was a football stadium. I didn't like the name, hated the name. Like all Jet fans, we hated the name. That's why we wanted to get out of there. They couldn't blow that place up quick enough. But you know what? When you look back and you see this, what we have now, I think even the Giant fans would take that stadium over this one.
This is a video from Alex B, who said that he had one of his favorite games, Fireman Ed chant. I recorded it from my season ticket seats. Jets football will never be the same. once they moved into MetLife. Look at you here. Love this.
Oh, yeah, it's my brother. Look at my brother. He's the toughest guy I know. What a guy. Look at what a strong Jake, he used to walk me up the aisle, up and down the aisle. And then when he would get tired, you know what he'd do, Jake? He grabbed my thigh, my top of my thigh, and squeeze it to say, get off. Because he was tired. That's the truth. That's what he used to do, my brother. There'd be no Fireman Ed without Frankie. Would have never happened, brother. Would have never happened.
R.I.P. His memory will live on forever.
Oh man, we rocked that place. Frankie, I couldn't have did it without him, boy. We rocked that place back then. Jesus, we rocked that place.
Mike DeVito.
That was the good old days, bro.
Yeah,
that was the good old days. As far as for the fan base, it was an electric crowd. There's no doubt about it.
One awesome night. One of my favorite experiences in the league. They got you in the intro on Sunday night.
You got to go back to that and see that. You see the look at this. Look at that steam coming out. When I took my helmet off, it was just the steam was coming off my head. It was wild. I was a raving lunatic that night because Ocho. I had talked to Ocho because we had played them. Well, I talked to him after that game because he called me. Ocho Cinco called me. He invited me out to the playoff game because we played the Bengals in the playoffs opening round. So he invited me to the game. He actually got my number and called me. He got you tickets to the game? Well, he wanted me to. He was going to fly me out, me and my family, and first class, everything, top shelf, and go. And I declined. I said because he was a Cincinnati Bengal. I said if the Jets did it, it'd be different. I can't do it with the opposing team. I was honored that he even offered. I said, but I couldn't do that. How could you do that? You can't. I can't do that. But it was nice anyway. He said before that game, he was saying, "Wait, I'm going to go on the goal post and I'm going to do the Cincinnati Bengal chant." He goes, "I'm going to grab a fire helmet and I'm going to do a Cincinnati Bengal chant when we beat you guys." This was in the stadium in the Meadowlands, and we obviously crushed them. What did we beat them? 33-0, I think.
Killed them. Brad Smith, Wildcat touchdown.
What was it? 33-0.
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't remember the score, but that sounds. I mean, they killed them, and then because by the second half, Cincinnati it meant nothing to them, so they pulled a lot of their guys, and and it was a party. And then you were there. I mean, they did the victory lap and around the stadium. Great. Rex got the Gatorade bath. I mean, this was the start of the run. Yeah, it was the best.
It was phenomenal. We see
37-0. That was the score.
What was it?
37-0.
37. I thought 33. Yeah. You know what? There was a lot of great moments.
7 degrees. They just said the wind chill on the broadcast was 7 degrees that night.
7 degrees. Yeah, it was cold as hell. That was the coldest. That was probably the coldest game I've ever been to. I would say, yeah. That I'll tell you, the other day when we played the Rams, that was pretty cold. The other day, the Ram game was pretty cold, but that was colder. That stadium, the difference between the two stadiums too, that stadium the wind was way more of a factor in that stadium than this new one. I think you could feel the wind in that stadium way more. I don't know if they used to say the myth was that they would keep the doors open in the tunnels of each side and open it up when the opposing team would kick a field goal. They try to open the door open to blow the wind in. You ever heard that?
No, I hear that.
That's yes, that's a fact. That's factual. Yeah.
Like, it's just, man. I miss these times. Meaningful games, man.
We had
playoffs.
Games. That one, the Packer game to get in, and we wound up winning the division. There's so many. There was a lot of good moments. 2002, we had a little run there. That was 2002 when we beat Peyton Manning in that playoff game. That was huge. That was our last home playoff game.
I talked about it with Herm Edwards yesterday. The last time the Jets won the division, that was with Herm in 2002.
I actually talked to Herm before that game. He actually came over to me before that game. He came right over to my seats. And he said to me, "You got to rock the house today?" I said, "Me and my brother are going to do the best we can for you, Herm." That's the truth. The place was electric. That was insane. It was crazy.
That's what we're trying to get back to. Well, it's amazing. This team has gone 15 years without a postseason game. It's just you can't make it up. 14 seasons.
Years.
Unreal.
And I'm 65 years old. Unbelievable, I tell you. And now I'm getting nervous because time's running out, bro. So I'd love to see a world championship, but we got to get this franchise right. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to bring us a world championship. I really did. I believed that in my heart. I thought for sure we were going to win a world championship with him, and obviously it didn't happen. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. We'll see if Woody can get it right. There's a lot of pressure on Woody and Chris right now to get this right because the fan base is about at its last wits, man. We're at the bottom right now, I think, and this fan base is like, they better get it right because I don't think the fan base is going to put up with the ownership too much longer if they don't,
Can't survive getting it wrong. That's the bottom line.
And I'm rooting for them because they're good people. They're not, Woody and Chris are good guys. They really are. I've met them numerous times. I've talked to them. They're good guys, but I got to call it like it is, man. People think, I'm on a payroll and all this bullshit, got to call it like it is, man. When they're wrong, they're wrong. Doesn't mean I don't love them. Doesn't mean I don't, care about them. I'm rooting for the Johnson brothers. I want to see them raise the Lombardi. It's going to make us happy, right? I mean, that's what you want. It's what we're all here for, but you got to call it like it is, man, and, it just hasn't gone right this year, and they need to be called out for it and some of the things that they've done. So it's just the way it is, And you put me on a screen, I don't really give a rat's ass. Just win, man. Just win, because that's the fans will show up. What's going to happen on Sunday is there's going to be no fans there. There'll be only going to be a certain amount of Jeff fans there, Jake. Ain't going to be a lot. It's going to be interesting to see how many Jeff fans show up Sunday. And you can't blame them. You really can't blame them. But it's going to be predominantly Dolphin fans there, Jake. Predominantly Dolphin fans will be there Sunday because they're playing, trying to get in. I mean, it'd be nothing better than knocking them off and letting them go home. I heard Rodgers this week say it'd be nice to see them go on vacation too, which I like to hear. So I hope he goes out huge this week. I hope he throws 5 touchdowns and just rolls. I'd love to see him just kick ass and go out of here, Because
he does that, then there's going to be conversation about you bringing him back, right head coach. We'll see.
Yeah, of course.
It's all up in the air right now. I think anyone who says definitively one way or another doesn't know. Yep.
The roller coaster. The week before we were talking about Rodgers. The 2 weeks before we gotta love him. We lit it up in Miami. We love him. And then last week, not so much. Not so much. So
don't tell that to Jeff Ulbrich, though. He saw a fight. He saw the strain. He saw exactly what you want to see when you get your ass kicked 40-0 against a division rival.
Jeff Ulbrich's a good guy. I like Jeff Ulbrich, but man, what are you doing? You're delusional. You're delusional when you talk like that. Don't even say those things. Don't say anything. Don't say anything like that. Especially in this season. I mean, come on. It's like we're getting stepped on. We're already down. Now just step on us. Right? I mean, it's the truth. What are you saying? You're telling us about Hassan Reddick and, this is the way we play Jet football. You're 40-0. 16 penalties. Oh, my God. And then, listen, Tyrod Taylor. I love Tyrod Taylor. But now all of a sudden, Tyrod Taylor is the greatest thing since Cracker Jacks. Come on. What are we doing?
Cracker Jacks are pretty great.
Come on. What are we doing? Come on. Come on. What are we doing? Listen, I'm rooting for Tyrod, but Tyrod can't stay healthy. He can't do it. And that's going to be the bridge quarterback? Come on. He's a good backup quarterback. He has a lot of talent. I'm not saying he doesn't. He has plenty of talent. But he has yet to prove he can stay on the field. He's a small guy. He's not a big guy. So We'll see. We'll see there's going to be a lot. Listen, there's going to be a lot of turnover. A lot of turnover.
Good.
The good
fumigation.
Thing, it's good, but we have the nucleus. We have a lot of real good players, which in the past, when we turn it over, we usually don't. This time we absolutely have on both ends of the ball. You probably have 6 or 7 guys on the defense, and you have more on the offense. You have more on the offense for a first. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. It's be interesting to see who winds up coaching. I know I don't want a first timer, Jake. I know that. I don't want to hear it.
Nope.
No Aaron Glenn, no Ben Johnson, no Cohen, no. I don't want to hear it. No, this fan base can't handle that. No, this fan base needs a guy that's established in this league, that's won in this league. They got to command the room. You got to be able to command the room. You got a bunch of vultures that are your beat writers. They're vultures. They're waiting to jump on you. Come on, man. Anybody can see that. Not hard to see. Woody's got to see that. So, hopefully we get Vrabel or Gruden. That's who I'm hoping for. And we'll see what happens on Black Monday. Right? That's you got to root for like you said, you got to root for the Patriots to win Sunday. Because I could see Vrabel going to the Patriots.
I could too, but
yeah.
I also could see the Jets being able to get him. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, before you go,
Jake, if the Patriots are in the mix, we're out. You count us out. We're done.
This one is from Jake West. Just wanted to bring this up. He goes, I heard the janitor's getting fired now too, since Ed called him out as a leak. Your thoughts on that?
Oh boy. Nah, I don't even know the janitors. I'm just making this statement. Like, people in that room. I would not have the media in Florham Park and One Jets Drive where the football operations exist. I would not. They would not be able to have access there. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't let them in the building. Just my opinion. And if I controlled the franchise, that would be the first thing. First order of business would be we're building a facility for the media. We're going to give all the top-notch, first-class amenities, but that's where you are. You're over there.
Ladies and gentlemen,
are in football operations.
I love it. Yeah, I saw you hold out a little Fireman Ed lager there. Tell the people about Fireman Ed lager.
I'm hitting it.
We all need to hit it after the type of season we've had. Oh, my God.
Hitting it. Here's the Vrabel or Gruden getting a coaching job.
Amen.
This is Fireman Ed Lager. 100% of the proceeds goes to John Moan. Hey, you heard me talk about him. There's a QR code on each can. You can donate to John. He's got a wonderful family. He's trying to walk. He got paralyzed. He jumped off a boat, didn't realize it was shallow, and he broke his neck, and he is now in a wheelchair. He's fighting every day. He's constantly trying to get himself to walk again. Comes from a military family. His father was a Air Force military all his career. That's why they're in Norfolk, Virginia. I think they're in the Newport News. I think it's the home of Tyrod Taylor, I think, is where the Newport News. They're great family. I love John. 100% of the proceeds, anything you can do. And the beer actually tastes pretty good.
Very good.
Otherwise, my fireman buddies and my buddies from the Jets would be breaking my chops that it doesn't taste good, but it actually does taste good. So if you find it in your heart, go out and buy some beer. It's well worth it. It's good. And that's Bolero Snort in Carlstadt, New Jersey, just less than a mile from the stadium. Go there and get your beer today. And for Sunday, with all the Dolphins. All the Dolphins will be in attendance on Sunday. The Dolphins. We're gonna send the Dolphins home on Sunday. They're going on vacation. We're all gonna have our golf clubs ready. We're gonna all have our golf clubs ready. That's what we're gonna do. and we're gonna go on vacation together, fellas. All the what is it? The teal and orange. What's it called? The teal and orange. I think they are. Right?
That sounds right.
Frank the Tank. We're gonna see all my brother-in-law. There's plenty of Dolphin fans. There's all kinds of Dolphin. There's more Dolphin fans in New York than there are in Miami, and that's just the truth. If the Dolphins played here, they'd sell out. Okay, in Miami they can't sell out. You can't sell out in Miami. It's amazing, but if they were here, they'd sell out. Okay, there's more freaking Dolphin fans. I know I was a Dolphin fan when I was a kid. I heard all about it. I know all about it. It's a joke. Okay, stop your shit. I was 13, 14 years old. You stupid asses. Anyway, I need a medal. I'm a Jet fan. I need a medal. Anyway, salute.
I love it, Ed. I appreciate you for hopping on. Go support Fireman Ed Lager. Goes to an incredible cause for John Mohane and his recovery. He's one of us, Jet fans.
He's
one of us. Ed, be ready to try and stay warm Sunday, and let's stick it to Miami. Fry some fish.
We'll see where it goes, Jake. We'll see where it goes. All the best, my brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Fireman Ed and his weekly spot on the show. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that like button, and please click the subscribe button. It's located on the right-hand side. It is free. The show is totally free, and it will continue to be totally free. All you need to do to help support is just make sure you subscribe and like, and you got a chance to get a membership, and you also got a chance to get a raffle ticket. Let me get to a couple super chats here, then we'll start to take some of your calls. Bang Mateo says Jets need to lock the doors and force Vrabel to sign. I agree. Now, obviously, they can't actually hire him, but they can give him a verbal, hey, you're our top guy. Which GM candidates do you want to work with? The guy that you would believe Vrabel wants is Ryan Cowden, who's like one of the assistant general managers inside the Giants organization. Was with Vrabel in Tennessee for many years. And the story goes that if Vrabel would have been a head coach last year, that would have been his GM he would have worked with. Michael says, always the best fights at Dolphin games. I won't be there, but I have heard that. Last time I saw the Dolphins play the Jets in person, the Jets destroyed them in 2022. Breece Hall had like 200 all-purpose yards that day, scrimmage yards. Tyrone says, hire him now so we can evaluate the team on Sunday. Go Jets. Bleep the other teams. Give them the keys and let's go. Tommy writes in, I've seen the fire Tomlin crown in Pittsburgh start to fire up again. Could be amplified next 2 weeks. Where does he rank in your list if available? They're not firing him. The Steelers, unlike other teams in the NFL, are not dumb. If Mike Tomlin was available, I would trade. They wouldn't fire him. They would trade him because why would they get rid of an asset like that? It's not going to happen. I would trade my entire draft for Mike Tomlin, and I would give up Chipotle for the rest of my life. And I'd be willing to stand in Times Square every year on New Year's Eve for 12 hours if you told me the Jets had Mike Tomlin coaching them. Joe Mike writes in, Jets should not let Vrabel out of the building. They have the advantage over all teams who have had coaches right now. Monday, that advantage is gone. As I will continue to say, Vrabel's going to interview for other gigs. It's a leverage opportunity for him. Also, they can't hire him if they wanted to. They have not fulfilled the Rooney Rule requirement. You need 2 minority candidates. We vetted it during this show for both. NYC says if the Vikings win and get the first round bye, Jets can interview Flores during the bye as long as the Vikings give permission. Jets need to make right after. The Jets, I'd be stunned if they didn't request Flores if Minnesota has the bye. John wants to know, when is Ed getting interviewed? Bring Ed in, man. Let him be on that coaching staff as director of energy and passion. Joe the G says, Raves yelled at Rossini for a false report once. Vrabel will yell at anyone. He won't stand for nonsense. He's not going to try and be buddy-buddy with the media like Salah was, like Douglas was. That's how you get all these like scathing athletic stories, trying to be friends with everybody in the media. I don't need friends. I'm not into friends. I'm into winners. Snake says, great content today. Thank you, Snake. I actually got to sleep in a little bit today. Didn't have to get up at 4 in the morning to do 4 hours of radio before this, so I'm feeling good. Chef writes in, huge fan. I have a petition for Fireman Ed to share and sign to get Woody's attention. Doesn't let me attach the link, but I'll put it in the chat. Email it to me. Ricky says, Ed, great to meet you at the Hall of Fame ceremony. V-Man, Jake, I sent you the Fireman Ed photo. V-Man, I will take a look. 25, Reddick, only DM without a full sack. Yeah, but Jeff Obrick's going to tell you he's the most selfless player he's ever coached. Clown. Dan, the Jet fan, any chance the Bills might throw the game to New England? I hope. I know the Eagles are going to try and throw the game to the Giants. Doug writes in, if I'm Woody, I'm leaving a blank check on the table for Vrabel. I'm not letting him leave the room. Thank God the season's over Sunday. It's fun to say, don't let him leave. He's going to leave the room. Remember, they couldn't let Saleh leave either. How'd that work out? They actually couldn't hire Vrabel if they wanted to. Could they give him a verbal agreement, be like, you're our top guy? Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be the Jets' approach with this, though. I don't know what Vrabel even wants either. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you haven't already. We will open it up on the Gustbuster hotline right now to get into some of your terrific telephone calls, like this guy.
I got my Iron UJ. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, David.
First of all, I don't see how anybody could hate or unlike Fireman Ed or Jake Asman, to be quite honest with you.
You'd be surprised. You should see my mentions and what people say on the internet about me, but I appreciate it, David.
Yeah, well, that's just silliness, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's see. Oh, respect. Fireman Ed, I mean, first responder, been there, done that. I mean, respect is part of the whole ball game. So leading into, now things are moving. Vrabel's going to come in, and he been like you've been saying time and time again, rather than a coordinator. Been there, done that. Respect, the whole bit. So I am leery, or not afraid, but the whole New England thing does scare me. But just going down the line, just two things I want to mention. But going down the line, Vrabel, Flores, Rex, and then Fireman Ed was talking. You and Fireman Ed were talking about, and they've been there and done that. If it gets down to that, which I don't think, I wouldn't be opposed to Mike McCarthy or Peterson.
Doug Peterson's a no for me. He just hasn't had success in a while. McCarthy's interesting. I don't think he's I think he's a pretty good coach. He won 12 games 3 years in a row. This year he has the team fighting. He just doesn't win enough big games. I don't know. I'd look elsewhere before giving McCarthy a third chance, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he's not a good coach. His resume is impressive.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get down to that, Jake. We throw Gruden in there, but if it gets down, then maybe they'll interview like some of the guys that haven't been head coaches yet or whatever. But I don't think it's. I'm thinking we're going to get Vrabel or Flores, or maybe that's just a pipe dream. I don't know.
I think Vrabel to the Jets is a very real possibility. I think Flores is also a possibility. I think Gruden's a candidate. I think Rex is going to be a candidate. I think Aaron Glenn will be a candidate. 100%. I mean, I think the Jets' number one target is Vrabel. So you got the first chance to preach and sell him on why he should take the job. Let's hope they can get it done.
Yeah, so interesting things are moving. And one comment, if I can say about Sunday's game.
Let me just say this real quick, David. You hope the Jets and Vrabel could see eye to eye, if you know what I mean.
I hope they I hope they see eye to eye, and say, can you see, and all that respectful stuff,
Absolutely.
One thing, if I can mention, say something about the game Sunday. This is on my mind. when I was over in Miami watching the Jets in Miami, and the Jets played well that game, but I had fortunately a bunch of Jet fans behind me. A lot of them were like kids in their 20s and their girlfriends, but they were very knowledgeable. But in that game, if I'm correct, Miami had a lot of defensive penalties, and the kids behind me would say, "Same old undisciplined Dolphins," So I think maybe if they have a chance to win the game this week, they'll commit a lot of penalties, and the Jets I don't think did have a lot of penalties, in that game, which is few and far between. But like I said, I think it would be better if they lose, but still would like to see Rodgers with his 500, So, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm with you, David. And look, at the end of the day, whether they win or lose, the biggest thing this franchise has to do has nothing to do with the game on Sunday. It's getting the coach and GM hire figured out. That's the bottom line.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so pumped up and praying and fingers crossed and eye to eye and you name it. I'm throwing everything in there,
Bullseye. I see what you're saying.
Thank you.
I got my eye on you, Jay. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hit that like button. Shout out to David T for starting us off. By the way, this was the photo Ed was referring to from that game 15 years ago with the steam coming off his head when he took his helmet off. V-Man sent me this, so I was able to pull it. I just texted it to Ed, so I'll tell you guys what he says when he gets back to me. So there you go. Comments, questions, super chats. We're seeking more memberships. More memberships for our raffle. Plus, if you want to be a channel member, you will help us get another channel emoji once we get about 15 more members, according to YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. We say hello to Neil. Hello, Neil.
Jake, how are you?
Neil.
I had the honor of being on a 5-hour plane ride with Fireman Ed for the Raider game last year.
How many points did you make to him in that conversation?
Well, let's put it this way. He told me a lot of stories. I basically stood next to him. We did a Jet chant. It was amazing. He told me a bar story about him kicking some Giant fans' asses. Him and another guy kicked like 5 Giant. I mean, he has stories that are incredible. Such a great guy. I remember his brother, 70, with the big Klecko jersey. The guy was as wide as a house. I mean, it was amazing. We had amazing times at the old Giant Stadium with him. I was at a lot of those games. And Ed fires me up, man. He fires me up. And, it'll be there for us. All great things come to those who wait. And we're waiting a goddamn long time, but it's going to come to us. This Vrabel thing, we're going to interview him today. One thing about Woody, and I wanted to mention this, the one mistake he made, and you got to realize something. If I own the team or you own the team, and we had an embarrassing loss in London to Buffalo, dude, we're emotional, okay? And let's assume Woody really wants to win right now because he's getting old and he's tired of the bullshit. And the guy has written an amazing amount of checks, you have to admit. His checkbook is flying out the door, right? We would be emotional enough to want to fire the coach too after a lot of games. I mean, look at the way we react as fans.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't. When you own the team, you can't fire a coach.
I get it. But one thing would have made a big difference. What did the Colts do when they fired their coach? They brought Saturday in as an interim. If they would have brought Rex as an interim, that wouldn't have been a bad idea. I think if he did.
Or what other teams do is you don't promote the offensive or defensive coordinator because then that takes away from what they do well with their unit. You promote Ron Middleton as the coach, and that guy could oversee the entire thing. Like, remember, when Saleh missed the game against the Jaguars because he had COVID in 2021, Middleton, not Ulbrich, was the interim. So, like, that's, in hindsight, what they also could have done differently.
And he had that great pregame with the hit it and everything. He was Middleton was an inspiring guy. Look, the head coach.
That was the Senior Bowl, by the way.
Oh, that was?
Yeah.
He was, he's an inspiring guy. I mean, the reality is you want to, the number one thing you want a coach to do is inspire guys.
If it
get
moves, hit it. If it don't move, hit it. And if you're not sure, guess what? Hit it.
That would have been a lot nicer than seeing, Mr. Compliments there. I was going to tell Ed, I have no doubt in my mind, because when I met him, dude, the guy is like a rock. Okay, he's older than me, but he is a brick shithouse. And I would guarantee you that if he was playing defensive end for as many snaps as Reddick, he would have had more than a half a sack. I am convinced of it. I am absolutely convinced. At 65 years old, he would have mistakenly fallen into a sack or two, because I know when I get hyped up, I would be going nuts at the quarterback. We could have brought the kid in from Notre Dame, in the Rudy movie, and he would have got a sack, once or twice. I mean, Jesus Christ, just the embarrassment. And then for him to compliment the guy, it's just this. It just throw up goes in my mouth when I hear him speak. I just can't believe what this guy is doing. He's destroying his career. He just is ridiculous. And that comes down to that's the same thing we were hearing from Saleh. It's just no accountability.
This is a Hall of Fame quote right here from Jeff Ulbrich.
Oh.
Hall of Fame quote. The team is still fighting, battling, and finishing, and it's a testament to that part of the culture. We're going to brag about the Jet culture in a 40-0, because I don't care about the 2 garbage time touchdowns, a 40-0 loss to a division opponent.
With 16 penalties. How about that? How about say something about the discipline and the fact we got 16 penalties? I mean, that's unconscionable. How many teams, Jake, I don't know if we know how many teams, do they list penalties per game by team and all that shit, or no? In other words, they lead the
NFL, and they lead the NFL, I'm pretty sure, in penalties.
Right. But do you know of any game where a team has gotten 16 penalties this year? I don't think there's a game. When you get 8, it's bad. 10 is ridiculous. 12 is the talk of the town. 16 is like, you can't make it up.
I don't have answers for you, Neil. I just hope they get these hires right. It's insane.
They'll get it right. Woody's got the biggest checkbook in the land. He's going to give Ulbrich full control. Those are advantages that we're going to have. And, we're going to get the first look. And all I would say to him is, look, we want you. It'll take whatever you want. If the Patriots job becomes open, simply give us the last look out of respect. If he doesn't do that, then who gives a shit? The reality is, if he's going to squirm away from us and go to the Patriots like Belichick did, then I don't want him anyway. But and as far as I'm concerned, I'm with that 100%. If it's not going to be him, I'll take Gruden any day of the week, because, with him and a Wink Martindale or a Rex or somebody else as a great defensive coordinator, I know Rex doesn't want to be a backseat driver, but the reality is he doesn't have many options, and he respects Gruden enough, I think, or he would, hopefully.
Does he?
I don't know if he – oh, yeah, he does it.
He took a shot at
Gruden,
right? Yeah, so Rex took a shot at Gruden when he first said on ESPN New York that he wants the job. And then when I had him on Monday, and that caused all the national headlines, he took a little shot at Brian Flores too, which I thought was hilarious. I don't know if you caught that.
All right. Well, look, Rex has got to be a consideration. Rex is somebody, if we end up, settling, he's certainly, not the 10 you want to take to the prom, but he's certainly better than a 7. As a prom date goes, we know Vrabel's going to win the pageant, right, Jake? Who's going to be the runner-up for the prom?
Do they
like Flores?
Do they? I see. At my prom, we didn't have like a king and queen type of thing. I thought that was like a homecoming, but we didn't have that either when I grew up.
So who's your runner-up? Flores is your runner-up?
Flores, Stefanski, if he were to be fired. I like Gruden too. I'd give him an interview. I like Rex, depending on what his plan would be for OC. I want experience. I mean, but 1, 2. Honestly, I want to interview Kingsbury too, because I heard some interesting comments from him yesterday on what he learned from his first go around, what he learned from Dan Quinn about how much he do differently. They have to have previous head coaching experience.
Oh
for
yeah,
me
that
to
goes
be on
without
board.
a doubt. I mean, if Woody doesn't get that, then we're really up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. I mean, let's just hope he's not listening to Allen or something like that. I don't think he really pays much attention to things like Allen and some of these other guys that are enamored with all these like shiny toys. Who calls them the shiny toys? Did Ed call them that or Beningo? He calls all these like coordinators shiny toys.
Yeah, he wants Ben Johnson badly.
Ben Johnson. That's who we need.
Hopefully Johnson goes to the Bears, because then I think it's more likely the Jets could get Vrabel if the Bears aren't interested.
Okay, let's just hope everything goes forward. We'll talk to you guys soon, and let's go.
Going Sunday, Neil? Are you
What's
going?
that?
Are you going Sunday?
My brother's taking my tickets. My brother's going.
Wow.
Who never goes to the game.
So why is he going to this?
Because he has my sister's his nephew's girlfriend and their 2 young kids want to go to a Jet game. So my brother's gutting it out to go to the game because of those 3. They never been to a game before. And I said, go to take my tickets. I sent them over to him, and he's going to go. And he's going to be there. He hasn't been to a single game this year where he's actually sat. He goes to the tailgates and he goes home. Or else he'll sneak in for a quarter and just leave. But he's going to go weather this out and go to the game. So we have to squish the fish. Anybody who says they want to lose this game, I don't know what the hell the reason would be to lose the game. Is there any benefit? I mean,
the draft pick, that's the benefit.
Yeah. I mean, are we going to get to, the only hope is we can go down to number 3. But,
we'll see. I mean, the good news for the draft truthers out there is all the games of consequence, most of them will have been played by the time this game kicks off. So we'll know what the benefit of winning or losing would be for the Jets. Like, I'll tell you what, I'm rooting for the Jets to win. Like, I'm fine with that. But if there's a chance for them to maybe get the number 2 pick, if something breaks right for them, then in that case, I'm rooting for the loss.
Okay, there you go. All right, for a number 2 pick, I'll let Hundley run around a little bit and just hope I'll make sure that if we won't have to make sure, because if the game comes down to the 4th quarter and Miami has to drive to score a touchdown, I'll turn the TV off and I'll celebrate the number 2 pick, because we're not going to stop them like we can't stop anybody this year. So I'm not putting that into any doubt. So if there is a chance for us to blow it, we certainly will, the way things have gone this year. So I'm hoping for touchdowns, to see an entertaining game, and to show some pride. I mean, look, it is something, I was thinking about this last week. It'd be nice to be 3-3 in the division if we would have beat Buffalo and had a chance to win this game, because when is the last time we were 3-3 in the division in a year? It has been a very long time, right, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about them needing to go at the bare minimum 4-2 to win this division, and they stink. So it's it's been a nightmare. Right. Now, Neil,
but you want to be in the habit of beating your divisional opponents, and certainly I don't want to get swept by the Dolphins to hear those blabbermouth a-holes, because I know a lot of New York, Miami fans. I can't stand these guys, man. I hate them. I hate Miami, I think, more than any other team right now. So I want to put. I mean, it's not going to be any. Miami fans are going to. Well, they have to win the game, so that's important to them. So if we beat them, there's some bragging rights there. But with Hundley playing instead of Tua, they have a built-in excuse already if we beat them, right, Jake?
Neil, what were your thoughts on Peter Castro stepping up yesterday to defend Bobby Midnight?
Well, I liked it. I'm looking at the sidebar here in the I'm sure you've seen in the StreamYard Bobby and Beastbreaker 666. Can we politely ask this guy Beastbreaker to go on another channel? This guy is a train wreck, dude. I think
he makes some salient points.
He does?
Yeah, he's got a good perspective on things.
Come on, Jake. This guy's a complete buffoon. He is a buffoon. He's knocking Bobby. I won't stand for it. And
Bobby knocked him first. Bobby went after him first. No one brings that up.
I don't care. You know what?
Beastbreaker was just calling in, all right. Giving jet takes. And Bobby then randomly yesterday goes, can I throw $10 to get rid of him? And I'm like, $10?
Listen, I heard the show. I listened to every show. I heard it. Yeah, but, he's going on the line here. I see some really bad name calling by Beastbreaker in the side here. When I say bad, I mean over the line, Jake. You get me? Over the line. Thinks he's insulting Bobby for. It's just a little too far, okay?
I mean, Bobby did antagonize him first, though.
Yeah, but he's a new look. When you come into this Asmaniac community, okay, you have to be indoctrinated. You just, look, Mike, what's his name? The guy that was just on. Oh God, David. He comes on as a gentle guy. He doesn't come in here with a full steam ahead. He has thick skin. We mock him, tease him a little bit about the big eye and all that shit. He comes on nice. You follow me? This guy Beastbreaker came on here like a bat shit out of hell. Like he thinks he's a movie star, this guy. He comes on, he's talking about the WWF, and it's this. Don't you dare put me on with this guy. I don't want to be on with him. But Bobby has a good point. Let's, if he came on and was a little humble, that would be one thing. But this guy's coming on like a train wreck, and he mumbles a million points together. I can't even understand half of the shit he's saying. So enough. Bobby, I got your back. Peter had his back. Enough of this guy. This guy has got to humble himself, Jake. Make him humble himself a little bit, and then we'll see if we want to move forward with him. But this guy has to get a little humble. He's a little full of himself.
I see. Well, Neil, I'll tell you what. Good points. We'll check in with Beastbreaker soon. And I'm just going to play this for those who missed it yesterday. This was a bit of a wild scene yesterday as Beastbreaker took on Bobby, Peter Castro, and Ricky NY.
Yeah, put him back on.
People need to be learning.
5 minutes.
Life.
Shut your big mouth for 5 minutes.
How about you blow it out your left nostril? How about you do this? Go turn your ass around and go walk the left line. How you like that, man?
Mouth for a fat, ugly prick.
Yeah, you
pick on Bobby? What are you picking on him for? Shut up.
You gotta learn his.
You don't know shit. When I talk, you shut up.
I got a bigger dick than
you. You don't come on here screaming and yelling at him, you overweight piece of shit, you big mouth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The only thing you
can
go stick is a donut up your
asshole.
ass.
You won't be here too long. Keep talking.
Right.
What did Bobby do to you, asshole?
I
know
like
you're a champion of all sports we never heard of. You got 30 years of coaching. You did this, you did that. You know what you did? You did shit.
Because I've learned more than your fat ass.
You did shit. You don't know nothing about the Jets.
I'm like the Tony
you know nothing about sports. You know what you are? You're an asshole. That's all you are.
This guy, I think his mother dropped him on his head when he was a kid. I tell you that much.
The way he talks, he shouldn't even be on the air.
This has been some show, man.
Two very proud men just simply talking things out.
What's up, clown?
Hey, monkey nuts. Let me shut your fakey, flaky ass up before you call me a clown. You're dealing with the wrong dog in the yard because the next thing you're going to get is the Army tank, and I'm going to send one-way ticket coming your way. And just remember this. I might be big, but I'm going to be bad enough to put you out.
You're nothing but a big blowhard, and you're not going to do nothing. You come face-to-face with me, I'll shred you so fast that you'll go running back to your boyfriend, funnel butt.
Run back to your boyfriend, funnel butt, is the line of the day, Team Ricky. That was a great line. It was a wild show. I mean, it's just a lot happens. I do have a full 10-minute edited down version of everything that I will play at some point. I scrapped it from the show yesterday because it got a little out of hand. But Gator did his thing, and we were able to come up with something that is playable for air. 25 writes in, will Neil host a funeral for Rodgers? I wouldn't say Rodgers is definitely gone, but I think it's unlikely he's here. 25 wants a bounty on Beastbreaker. Look, I mean, it's a steep bounty, 25. We don't throw bounties around. Bobby tried to offer $20 yesterday. Come on. 25 writes in, Bobby made that pig squeal yesterday. A lot of strong takes out there. More of your calls right now. The Hamburger's next. Hey, Hamburger.
What's up, Jake? How you doing?
I living the dream.
Yeah. Fireman Ed, man. I like that guy, man. He's so passionate. He's authentic. Yeah, I don't agree with every one of his takes, but it comes from a place like we all are, great Jet fans. So I appreciate his love for the franchise and the team. And I think you guys are right, man. If they don't get this right, for the first time in my life, I'll have a tough time being as much of a rooting on the team. I won't be able to let it involve so much of my life anymore. So I consider myself a huge fan. I love the team. I live and die with it, but if they can't get it right, it'll be all about sell the team. I'm pretty sure it'll be from everybody. So I pray that they
not going to happen. So then it's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, I know. And that's the tough part for most of us. But listen, we got our guy in the building today. Hopefully they do the right thing. Hopefully the interview goes well. Hopefully that he considers us a good candidate. And we get a couple other guys in the building. My list is still, Gruden is my number one. Not Gruden. Vrabel's my number one. If Stefanski gets fired, I think he moves above Vrabel, and he's my number one. But, a Gruden, even Rex Ryan, I said it on the other day on the show. It wouldn't be that bad of a hire. I'm more up to it now than I was before. Because plain and simple, I want a coach that's done it before. That's plain and simple. And I want somebody that's won, not necessarily won the Super Bowl, but put together a winning franchise, like a winning team with a good culture. I'm tired of watching what we see on the field. It just never changes. So, but I'm hoping, I don't know, maybe this weekend, maybe Sunday, I'll think about going to the game. I tried to get my pops. He's a retired Army vet. He was in Vietnam. So I just got to get him tickets that are kind of closer to the field because he can't walk that far anymore. But I'd like to get him to a game before Aaron retires. So I'm going to see.
Hamburger, if you need tickets, let me know. I got tickets for you, field level. All right.
Yeah. How many you got? Probably two. I'll just take him. My son ain't probably going to want to go. So I'd like to get him out there. He hasn't been in probably 15 years. So
let me see what I have. A bunch of Jet fans have donated, and this is exactly what something like that is for, which is
that
awesome.
Would be great, man. My pops would appreciate it, especially if it was close. He won't go if it's far. So, but that would be awesome. I would appreciate that. I don't want to go because it's going to be cold, but I want to take him and spend a day with him. So that'd be good.
Let's see what we have here. How about section 121, row 20?
Sounds good to me.
That is a prime seat right there.
Sounds good to me, man. Definitely.
They're yours. They're yours and your dad. I will send them to you when I get off the air here.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man.
That is awesome.
Listen, the Bobby and the whatever that guy's name is, it's a little out of hand in the chat. Some of the things I would agree with Neil are just a little out of line, but that goes for both of them. I think they need to step it down a notch. But
look, all I'm going to say is Bobby went after him first.
No, I'm not saying he didn't. I will not say he didn't. I will agree with that. But some of the things in there are a little bad. But I have to screen that out.
I'm seeing what's happening here. By both of them. Everyone loves Bobby Midnight, but he antagonized the guy first. Peacebreaker was just a caller before. We got to be fair around here.
I know. I can't let Gabrielle watch the show, so I got to screen the show now before I let her watch.
No, that's definitely true. I mean,
Well,
that's why I edited out most of the rumble yesterday. Just so you got out of control.
Yesterday was a rough one. But listen, you guys have a great day. I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you very much, man. As Maniacs, see you later.
Hamburger, happy to do it, man. Shout out to all the Jet fans who they're not using their tickets. We could give them the people like Hamburger and his dad who can go. $20 super chat here from Angel. Angel, thank you. That's 5 raffle tickets for you right there. Hi, Jake. They need to hire Vrabel or Flores. I do not trust a first-year coach for the situation right now. Completely agree. Vrabel's my number one. I like Flores. I hope Flores could take Josh McCown with him to be the offensive coordinator. Maybe they trade for J.J. McCarthy, and boom. There's a real path. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you haven't already. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Joining us right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is someone that was involved in a lot of controversy yesterday. Many are defending him. Many are calling him the reason behind the controversy. It is time.
Well, you know that Al's a lion crap of crap. You should check out my new hat. The Jets are freaking awesome. Bobby. Hi, Jake.
Hey, Bobby.
Just had to run to the bathroom.
How'd it go?
Good. I'm walking. Did you see me walk a lot faster to the bathroom?
Oh, you look like you were like running like a gazelle.
I know. Before I could even walk at the stadium, remember?
Oh yeah, you were crawling.
Yeah, I know. Remember they had to push me up the stairs. God, yeeks. But I'm feeling better. Yeah, well, I don't know. He comes in like a boat, like Neil says he comes like a bull in China. So I had to stop him. So
why is that your responsibility to stop him?
Because I don't like the guy. He's from a mental institution.
Yeah, but what did he do to you personally, other than just call into a talk show?
Him rumbling all the time.
I mean, he has a right to free speech, no?
Okay, well, I don't like the guy, so I'm allowed
right.
to not like the.
All right, but if you called for a bounty on him, I think he has a right to respond to you.
Okay, let's go. Bring on the fat Lars.
No, I'm not doing this again. I'm just saying. Good. You act like this just came out of nowhere here.
Yeah, I said it. I started it. I did start it. I'm proud of myself.
You're proud of yourself?
Yes. I am glad that I started it. Yes, he's a great guy.
I mean, I'm just glad you acknowledge that you started it, because that's my big thing. Everyone's going after Beastbreaker. Beastbreaker wasn't harming anyone until you went after him first.
I started in the chat. I did.
You not liking the guy is not justification for calling for a bounty on him.
Well, I just
unless it's Alan, that's different. If you call for a bounty on Alan, we listen every time.
I like Alan. Nope, no bounty. No, he can't be on the show anymore. Anyway, so
why not?
Because something to do with his new job.
No, he's on the show every day. You can't. He needs the show.
No, not this thing. He was.
Alan would not have a social life if it wasn't for this show. So he should be kissing my feet whenever I ask.
He got a college thing now. He got a new job.
Let's never forget what he said on the show recently about you, Bobby.
I wouldn't have settled for 20. That fucking moron. That fucking moron. That fucking moron.
Yeah, I talked to him about that.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Jake West with an interesting point here. Will allow you to respond. Were you getting jealous of the attention that Beastmaker 666 was getting?
No, not at all, Jake West. I love you. Nope. No jealousy here. I just don't like that.
Jerry Moore with a super chat. Hold on, Bobby. I'm a capital fish. I have business to attend to. Did you hear who was in Vrabel's short list of OC? Josh McDaniels. I did not hear that, but I don't know if that's true.
Who's Josh McDaniels?
Former Patriots OC, Raiders head coach.
Oh, yeah. I remember him now.
Do I think McDaniels would get the Jets OC job? I'd be a little surprised, but if they hire Vrabel, I'll let him pick his staff. He has hired a good staff before.
Why can't we just keep the guy now? Downing's pretty good, isn't he?
Downing maybe could stick around. I don't know if he'd be the OC, but we'll see. Bobby for quality control coach. Would you be a quality control coach of the Jets?
Yeah, that's good. Ricky is the best. What the line he said yesterday? He says, boyfriend bubble butt.
Do you think I can maybe broker peace between you and Beastmaker?
I doubt it.
Why not? What if he agrees to come on the Bobby Midnight Show and maybe he's a good guy? He's just misunderstood.
We'll try. Let's see if he stops screaming, maybe.
All right. Let me talk with him first and see what I can do, okay?
All right. If not, I'm not dealing with it.
All right. Stand by. All right. Joining us right now is Beastbreaker 666. Beastbreaker, please remain calm.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the grand jury. What I heard yesterday was a lot of bunch of badger-nathing garbage and a bunch of hooligan nonsense.
Also, before you go on your rant, Beastbreaker, before you go on your rant, please, we try to keep this this show PG-13, right? So please, I'm just giving you a language alert as we hash things out here.
Well, they want Ric Flair. They wanted me to be like Ric Flair. Hey, they got Ric Flair yesterday. I'm gonna tell everybody, I'm already a global star, and right here, right now, what am I doing? Getting all my global bands put together, because now another piece of history has now been added to the mix. See, number one rule, you talk a lot of crap, but you don't have the balls enough to throw for 4th and 15 and get the win. I know when it's time to go for the win. And you guys picking up Gruden, I'm not too sure about this Gruden guy, but Rex Ryan and Mike Vrabel, you put that two-way combination together, it'll be like Ali and Foreman in the ring. It'll be a win, it'll be a big knockout, and we can get a chance to go back to the AFC title that we haven't been to since 2010. It is time we finally get our heads out of our asses and start realizing that this is the time. And Aaron Rodgers for next year, put him on the bench. Let him be the offensive coordinator. Let him work with some of these guys. I mean, he's got his players here. Let's see what the core.
Beastbreaker, I don't want your Jet takes right now. I'm trying to broker peace between you and Bobby Midnight. So I'm going to bring you back on and we're going to discuss that.
I don't know about that. I don't trust monkeys off of trees, and I don't swing from some state to state. I'm not Tarzan, but if he wants to play the role of Jane, that's not my problem, because I've learned a lot from many people. He ain't The Rock, he ain't Austin, and he sure as hell ain't me. And I'll tell you that from experience, just because I got the balls enough to say I got the truth in my back pocket. Oh, and to that Peter guy yesterday, he needs to take his ball and go back to the ghetto, because I got more balls than that guy. He does know what Gabagool looks like if lightning hit him in the back of the head. And anyone who plays me is going to get crushed. And I mean crushed like a sardine. There is no way on this planet you call me a fraud and all this and this. Sonny, you don't know your asses from your elbow. There's two things about me that you don't know jack about. I've been around the East Coast. I know what it feels like to be around the cold Atlantic, and I've been around it. So I know what it feels like. So let me just say this. I'm a Giant, a Jet, a Knick, a Ranger, and a New York man. I don't like the Yankees, but I will respect the Red Sox, because no matter what anybody tells me, I'm a different person. And I also like the old Chicago Bulls. So if anybody's got a problem with that, you can take it to the bank. I play by my own set of rules because I learned from many of the great people that I grew up watching. And let me just say this, for everybody's sake, I was a Rex Ryan guy, a Bill Parcells guy, and also I didn't mind certain other coaches, but the last three we've had, Adam Gase, not great. Oh, let's see. Robert Saleh, it looked like...
Beastbreaker, once again, I'm simply asking you to talk about how we can get you and Bobby Midnight on the same page here. I'm trying to broker peace in the chat. If we don't broker peace, there's going to be a bounty on you every day that the chat is going to fulfill. So I'm trying to help you out here, all right? I'm doing my best. I'm going to bring you back on, and let's talk about how you and Bobby Midnight could coexist in the Asmaniac ecosystem.
In my world, he has to learn that rule one in my planet. Let me just say this. I've been to the bowels of hell. I've seen what I've needed to see. And if that monkey nuts couldn't get his act together, then I don't care. I'm gonna do what Fireman Ed says. Hey, to all the head coaches, I'll give you an example. Parcells didn't care about the media. Certain other coaches didn't care, but Saleh, he was kissing everybody's ass, and I don't kiss ass.
What does this have to do with Bobby Midnight? Beastbreaker.
A lot, because I've heard a lot of garbage, and I'm not the playful kind of garbage. See, I've been around the Jets guy, the team around almost 27 years. I've watched them all come and go, and I've learned my history very, very well. So if that guy's got a problem with it, hey, like the $1 Million Man once said, if you don't like it, you can take it to the bank. I play by my own set of rules. I was born this way. I was born hard. And I'm going to die hard, because that's what I live for every single. I used to be a party animal. I used to live on the edge. But now that I'm 40, I've done my job. So that guy needs to take a long look at himself in the mirror and think about it, because he don't want none of this. Oh, no. I will knock him out Rocky Balboa style, and also Apollo Creed. Even throw Drago into the mix. Just because I'm old school and I play by the rules. See, that boy needs to learn his lesson. don't get in the ring with me, because if you do, you're gonna get knocked out with one blow. That's the way it rolls, and that's the bottom line. I don't play this crap. And right now, I'm trying to rebuild everything global. I'm living global. I'm trying to do my thing global. It's because I live a good life. I don't do crack, and I don't do drugs. The only thing I live for the good stuff, and I live for good times. We're all going to... Thank you.
Beastbreaker.
Thank you.
A bounty was set during your call. Farewell.
I don't
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it. Farewell, Beastbreaker. Farewell. I told you it's gonna keep happening. Tried to broker peace, but it just wasn't meant to be there. Now, here's the deal. It's Rick Kent coming through for the people. 10 memberships. And there's been a lot of discussion about the membership video that Gator created for Rick Kent. So if you haven't seen it, this was the video that Gator made, because Rick is awesome. I met him personally in London. Great dude. He won our Super Bowl III ring, by the way, that was sent out yesterday. And when Rick gifts memberships that help support the show, I wanted the video for him. So Gator made this.
It's Rick Kent. Do you kids want a Jake Asman gift membership? Yeah! Hold on then. And away we go.
So I didn't understand why there was like a fart video for Rick Kent. And apparently Rick Kent didn't like it either, I was told. So I haven't had a chance to play this yet. I actually haven't seen it yet myself. So Gator was in the lab. He told me that there is an updated Rick Kent membership video. It's a little lengthy, which I'm surprised, but I'm just going to play it. Here's my first time seeing it like everyone else. Hopefully, Rick, you like it.
Despite my generosity, I have to ask Jake stop playing that stupid video that Gator made of me farting on children. I called him a dick in the chat. He said, I don't know why Gator did that. Because he's a dick. Because he's a dick.
Can I have a Jake Asman gift membership?
Coming right up. There you go. Don't pop that. You'll throw up. Look, I support Jake. I wear a stupid shirt.
Gator, what the hell? What are we doing here? That's worse. That's worse than the first one. Oh, my goodness. Are Gator and Rick Kent at war now? Oh, my goodness. That wasn't better. Of all the dramatic things I've ever seen, Gator and Rick Kent. I mean, Gator just doubled down like Beastbreaker when we tried to broker peace. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Good God. Rick Kent, I don't endorse that video. But I want to shout you out for the 10 memberships that you gifted to put Beastbreaker in the hole for the day. Wow. That was stunning. Joe Campanelli, Donnie Burden, Michael DeNapolis, Tony DeFilippo Jr., Aiken, Project Prospect with Dom C, and DMAC all receiving illustrious channel memberships. That was something, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue with your calls right now. A lot of people want in on the conversation. So we go in order. Paul is up next. Hello, Paul.
Oops. What's happening, Jake?
What, are you working out, Paul?
Yeah, I had a lot going on, so I quit, and now I had shoulder surgery, so Jet Green stretching out, working shoulder, yeah. It's all good. Feeling good.
You look good.
Only 2 weeks. Got good movement. Yeah, it's working good. So, yeah, the two of them got issues. We gotta
we got a lot of issues.
them out.
Now I have to deal with a Rick Kent versus Gator dispute. That's a problem.
It never ends in Jet World. Don't you know that? You can't win.
The Asmaniac universe is in a lot of battles to start 2025.
Yeah, it's all right. That's because we're all on edge too. Everybody's got to get the testosterone out of them one way or another. Can't do it through victory, so we got to take it out on one another.
It's true.
It's all the stress, my man. I'm just glad that we brought up the whole Salah thing when you were talking to Neil, because it's still, to me, like it ruined the season. Totally ruined the season by just getting rid of him. We were 2-3. I mean, it's not like we were 0-5. We were 2-3 with a lot of games left. 12 games left, and you can't expect it to get better when, like you said, we threw the brick in. Like, it's not fair to him. Poor guy was never even a head coach before, let alone having to worry about the defense and everything. The whole year was just an embarrassment, and I'm sure everybody agrees. It's probably the worst season I think I've ever experienced in my 53 years of age. And I just got a question for you, because two things. One, I don't understand why are we even interviewing head coaches right now when we don't even know who our GM is going to be? Like, it almost seems that we're going to have to do it all over again once we get a GM. So that part I kind of don't get. Like, yeah, it's great. We're interviewing people and we're interviewing the right people. But again, like, if we don't do this right and get a GM and a head coach that are on the same page, are going to work with one another. So I don't know. I just feel like, shouldn't we be doing GM first? And then my second thing is, I just like to throw stuff out there for boredom purposes, because I'm bored with the Jets, obviously, and probably you as well. But just say the Steelers lose the first round of the playoffs again, and for some god reason they fire their head coach. Would you instantly look at him?
I'd give Mike Tomlin equity in the franchise. Yes, it's not going to happen. We can move on. I'm not even wasting any time.
I figured that, but I want your thoughts on. I'll hang up, but I want your thoughts on, like, why we're going and interviewing head coaches instead of a GM first. That's all.
It's just part of the process.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, Paul. You could get these guys on maybe your coaching staff. Like, if they hired a first-time coach, maybe Ron Rivera is a defensive coordinator candidate. Sean McVay, youngest head coach in the league. He had Wade Phillips as his DC those first few years, helping him out. I think it's just due diligence, too. Get good at your process. What questions did Ron Rivera have for you? How are you prepared? How are you prepared to answer said questions? Go through the process. That to me is what it is. You have all this time. Rick says, "Don't tell me Jake never saw that." Rick, I didn't. It was added yesterday. I forgot I had it until I saw your 10 gifts that you did the whole, what's his name? I just will play it again, Rick. Don't worry. Also, the worst thing to do is to go at Gator directly, I'll tell you. So he'll just keep coming up with dumb, funny things like that. It's like, never tell the bully your insecurity, basically. So I'd look at it. All right. Rick wrote, enjoy them. They are the last ones. Hey, look, Rick, whether you gift memberships or not, I appreciate your viewership. So it's all good. Metro Funny writes in, can't gift memberships, but here's a little something towards it. I appreciate it, Metro Funny. We'll get you 5 raffle tickets for our next giveaway. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Kyle Clifton. What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, Jake? Let me tell you something. If Rick Kent paying for the ban for Beast Breaker can't get Gator to forgive him, I don't know what else he can do.
I agree. And that video was obviously made before the Beast Breaker call happened today. Right. That video was in the system as of yesterday. So there it is.
So I don't know where Neil's been. He's just coming around to that Miami Dolphin fans are evil. Like, what's going on here, man?
They're the worst because they talked like they've won a lot, and they're almost as pathetic, if not, you can honestly argue more pathetic than the Jets in their history. Because Miami, they had the same amount of Super Bowls as the Jets, but they had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and never won with them. Like, that's embarrassing. And they haven't won a playoff game since Bill Clinton was the president of the United States. The Jets have 6 playoff wins since the last time Miami won a single playoff game, and the Jets haven't made the playoffs in 14 years.
Jake, they embraced a tangerine and teal color scheme and a helmet with a cartoon dolphin jumping in with the sunbeams in the background willingly as children. This is how they embraced a game of physical domination. Come on. It's ridiculous.
I'm with you.
The other thing is, we got to stop with this. Don't let them leave the building. With free agents, that's something that happens, right? It's the first time maybe an undrafted free agent who's proven himself in the league gets in your building, you throw money at him, you dazzle him with the city that you live in, with your plan for the future, and maybe they don't leave the building, they sign on the dotted line. With these guys who are CEO types who are going to be meticulous in their planning, they're going to listen to other offers, and you have to have contingency plans by talking to other guys if they don't take it. If you give someone like Vrabel the full court press, and he doesn't like that, you're going to lose your chance at him. So it's got to be more of a soft sell than it would be for like a free agent that comes into your building. That said, I think the Jets do have some natural advantages over, say, Las Vegas. Las Vegas. The quarterback situation is not great. I don't think the ownership situation is particularly great. I think the Saints situation is outright poor. So it comes down to, between the Patriots, the Bears, who, like someone said, that they might be leaning Ben Johnson, and, maybe Ohio State, which now Ryan Day is probably playing himself out of the conversation of being fired right now. So that's kind of where I feel about Vrabel. Continue to slow play this. Continue to try and impress him. Continue to express interest. Gauge who it is he wants to work with. If there's someone that's not on your list, make sure that ensure that maybe he should be on your list, right? You're going to have to talk to a couple of people throughout this whole process. Now, the other thing is, for the Rooney Rule, I think it needs to be tweaked because a team like the Jets, while they haven't ever really hired a minority front office guy, top front office guy, 3 of their last 6 head coaches have been minority hires. So to hold them to the same standard as some of these other teams that maybe are falling through the cracks, maybe there needs to be some sort of sliding scale with that as far as which teams are actually giving these opportunities to talk to the people that make decisions. I'll shut up and listen, but that's kind of how I feel about it. I feel like the Jets have kind of proven themselves in that regard about being willing to sit down with guys who've distinguished in the league, no matter what stripe they're from.
Yeah, I mean, you could criticize the Jets for many things, but they've never been afraid to hire minority candidates for sure. I mean, Herm Edwards was black. Todd Bowles was black. Robert Saleh is, I forget his country of origin, but he's a minority candidate. Yeah, I mean, 100%. Look, the Rooney Rule is well intentioned, but I don't know. I just it is what it is. Like it doesn't bother me. Salah's Lebanese. So thank you to someone in the chat who wrote that. Ralphie with a $20 super chat. Do you think the Jets interviewing Ron Rivera could lead to him being on the staff as a veteran presence for the next coach? I see plenty of teams have veteran coaches on the staff, sort of like a bench coach in baseball. Exactly what it is. Yeah. Exactly what it is. That's why you talk to him. I wouldn't hire Ron Rivera. I think his resume is incredibly overrated. He's had 3 winning seasons in like 13 years as a head coach. Wrong verb. Beast Breaker just cutting a promo. Let the man cook. Look, Rick Kent sent him to the hole. We had a bounty. Let's get to more of your calls right now. Everyone be very quiet. 3, 2, 1.
What's up?
There he is. How was your slumber?
Actually, it wasn't. I didn't even notice that I was on. I was actually just looking at bed. I was just checking out Linus for a second.
Hey, so you weren't sleeping?
No.
I don't know about that one. We're gonna have to review the tape.
What's up?
You tell me, man. You called in.
So they're finally gonna looking at it again. First crack at Vrabel.
Why didn't I call you back? You sound like you just got out of bed.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I think you were sleeping, V man. There's tape of it.
Oh look, let's just get this. Look, I'm gonna call in. I'm fine. Let's get this call. I want to get this call in. All right.
Your connection also sucks too. It looks like you're in like 360p.
Really? On my end, it looks fine.
Yeah, we'll call you back, V man. Chat. I think V man was sleeping. What say you? What like Matthias nailed it here. So it looks like they Vrabel. Rick Kent writes in, about half of what Gator does is funny. The other half is mean-spirited. I never asked for anything. I don't want videos made about me. Well, Rick, you have my word. I will never play a Rick Kent membership video again that's made by Gator. So I will not play it anymore. More of your calls right now. Let's check in with someone that sometimes we like, sometimes we don't like, sometimes we love, and sometimes we just don't know what he's saying. SEAL Team 75, assemble.
The Clapping Seals, they're alive and well in the chat. The ruling on the field was V-Man was sleeping. Good luck getting that overturned. That's good. That's not gonna work.
I mean, I literally did a countdown and said, "Hey, chat, watch this," and then played the alarms, and then all of a sudden he was up. So
yeah, I mean, there's not an official in the league that's going to overturn that call. Like that's you're sleeping, pal. And we're sticking with that. I know they can interview Vrabel, but can they hire Vrabel? Are they allowed to hire, or does that have to wait?
They haven't fulfilled the Rooney Rule. They need one more minority candidate.
This is the rule. I don't want to get you in trouble, but the rule's not well intentioned. The rule is based on racism. The rule is you have to.
No, but the intention
was
not to be
based on the color of their skin, not the merit of their character.
The
it's
spirit,
rule.
Gary. The spirit of the rule is to try and give minorities more opportunities to get these jobs. It's well intentioned.
When you try to get the best, you will organically get diversity. When you try to get diversity, you won't get the best, right? So if you just go interview the 5 best candidates, like I made a list, it was all over the place. Brian Flores was on it, Ron Rivera was on it. It's
right.
Like that's the list. Like
wait. But like I think a couple things could be true here. Like maybe the way it's like you have to interview 2 people is bad, but it's like it's trying to basically raise awareness for minority candidates. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it's not a racist rule. It's just maybe not the best thing to put into place, but it's a rule. I don't really want to get into whether it's good or bad. I cover it from a Jet standpoint. You asked, could they hire Vrabel today? The answer is no, because they have not interviewed 2 minority candidates yet.
So if they bring someone into the office and say, I'm interviewing you now, I interviewed him, then they can hire Vrabel, a minority from the office, whatever that means.
What do you mean a minority from? You're going to bring in
the tight ends coach, Ron Washington.
You're going to bring in Stanley from the office? If Stanley interviews for the job, that's it?
Let's interview him. And I interviewed him. Now I can hire Vrabel. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is ridiculous. You know, like, and this is what Flores got pissed off about. Flores felt like he was being flown around doing interviews, that he was never going to actually land the job, that they weren't actually hired him. But because he's black or Panamanian or whatever it is, they had to interview him. Like,
but here's the thing, too. Getting in the room with NFL owners is valuable. Getting in the room with different,
I agree.
So maybe a minority candidate is getting a chance to interview that they wouldn't have interviewed for, and that leads to them eventually being hired to someone's staff in a different role, where it's a promotional role. And like the key is, and they've adjusted it since, the key is not to have head coach requirements and GM requirements for the Rooney role. It's the assistants, right? They now made it for quarterback coaches. They now made it for offensive coordinators because the league is trending towards hiring offensive guys. So that's really where you want to get minority candidates getting a chance to interview, because the way to be a head coach is not just be black and you're on someone's assistant, you're an assistant coach somewhere. I know you get a job. It's be in positions where the league is looking to hire, which is quarterback coach and OC, etc.
Again, I don't want to debate the merits of the rule. The rule is the rule. You gotta play by the rules, I guess, and like that's what it is. So I mean,
Nick Shine writes in. Gary's hair makes him look like a former boy band singer that let himself go and is promoting his VH1 Behind the Music episode.
Of all the things I could be comped to, that's not bad, right? Like, I'm in a boy band. One of the prereqs for being in a boy band is you have to be good looking. So I'm going to take that as a compliment. Nick.
What's your take on the Beast Breaker drama?
Peter Castro said one thing I agree with. Right? When I speak, you listen. I kind of have that respect for Peter Castro. If Peter Castro was talking to me, I'd shut my mouth and listen to him. I may agree with him, I may not, but I'm going to give him the respect to speak. So I agree with Peter Castro on that. If Peter Castro was going off on me, I'd shut my mouth and listen to him and see what he had to say. Be like, yes, sir. Thank you, coach. And just kind of move on. So I think Peter Castro was right on that. This bestiality guy, is he real or is this an AI character? Is this like an AI bot? Is this real?
You called him bestiality. I believe you mean Beast Breaker.
Yeah, Beast Breaker.
I call him Mr. Breaker.
Mr. Breaker. Is this a Gator creation or is he a real person?
Is he real? Yeah, he's real and he's spectacular.
Okay. Yeah.
Some people have accused me of him being a paid actor.
It doesn't seem real. It seems like he's doing some kind of bit or something. Does he seem like a real person to you?
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to experience his calls, and I believe he's real.
Do you think he's a paid actor?
No, because if he's a paid actor, wouldn't I be the one paying him? It's my show.
Yeah, it could be a troll paying him to call in and do a bit. Could be the other way around. It could be an Asmaniac paying him to call in and act like that. He's in there quoting the $1 Million Man. It's I don't know. He's doing a whole thing like he's some kind of heel in a professional wrestling interview. I don't know. It seems kind of off.
Look, love him or hate him, as Oscar the Grouch talks about. He's captivating. I mean, we're talking about him.
Fair enough. He is. I want to not watch, but at the same time, I can't not watch. So it's one of those things.
It's true.
Oscar the Grouch is right.
My dad is suggesting that perhaps you paid him.
Certainly not. Certainly not. My goal was basically Vrabel. Why don't we just get this done before he takes other interviews? Like I'm not saying he's going to take New England job. We don't even know if the New England job is available. They just hired a head coach last year. How many coaches really get fired after 1 year? A very, very, very small percentage. So I don't even know if that job. I do think if it came down to it, he'd probably, if all things were equal, if money was equal, he'd probably take the New England job. Because if I said to you, Jake, 2 jobs, everything's the same, the Jets and the Patriots, which job you taking? Taking the Jet job because you're connected to that job. Right?
Well, it depends on the rosters, the team. Me personally, yeah, I'm a Jet fan, but I'm not an NFL coach. It's different.
But I'm saying you could be an NFL coach for one of 2 teams, the Jets or the Patriots. The pay, everything is equal.
Yeah, I would take the Jets. I get it, but Mike Vrabel is not necessarily looking at it like I can only take the Patriot job. Like, he might only have one more chance to be a head coach in the league. He's got to do what's in the best interest of his career. And what if he doesn't want to work with Elliott Wolf? Like, with the Jets, they're giving him power and the pick of his GM in theory, and a better roster.
No, I agree. The Jet job is a better job. So that's why I would try to lock him up. Like, I would just sit down with him and I would interview Flores. And I'm hiring one of you 2. I don't care which one it is. I'm getting one of you guys, and you're not leaving. Like I'm just say like when you buy a car, they're not letting you walk out without signing that paperwork. I'm getting one of you guys to sign the paperwork. If it's not Vrabel, it's Flores. If it's not Flores, it's Vrabel. But one of you two is my next head coach. What's it going to take to get it done? You don't want these guys going to other jobs, hearing other spiels. It's not a great coaching.
But it's not up to them. Also, like it's not up to the Jets themselves. Like they haven't fulfilled their Rooney Rule requirements yet, and Mike Vrabel is going to be sought after. He's not going to. You could offer him the job, and he could say, "All right, appreciate it. I'm going to go talk with some other teams and then make a decision."
What about Flores? Flores has a little history. Is he going to have the same options?
I like Flores, but I have him in a different tier than Vrabel. Vrabel's the only guy that I would allow to pick the GM. Flores, I want a GM first, and then I want that GM aligned with hiring Flores.
I would hire either one of them. I don't. To me, it's like toss it up. I'd take either one of them, Flores or Vrabel.
I think Vrabel's a better coach, personally.
Just toss it up. Then let's hire Vrabel, right? Like I don't like.
But you can't. You understand? You can't just hire him yet. You understand that, right?
Then interview the tight ends coach for the head coaching job, and then hire Vrabel.
He might not just take the job. You got to have a real process. You can't just be looking that desperate and just giving the guy whatever.
I don't think it looks desperate to say you're the guy I want to coach my team. I don't think that looks desperate.
I understand. I'm just telling you, like that's not how it's gonna work. Like they're gonna interview him. They're gonna talk to the GMs that he'd want to work with. I'm sure that came up today in the conversation. Then you go from there.
Yeah, I just don't want to miss out on him and him. I'm not even convinced New England's gonna fire their head coach. I mean, it looks bad right now, but it's been 1 year with a new quarterback. I'm not convinced they're gonna fire Mayo.
Like if you're Mike Vrabel and you're sought after, how do you know the Jet offer is the highest offer money wise? Like leverage wise, he should talk to other teams. And if anything, if he's in demand, that costs the Jets, have to pony up more money for him, which is how it should be.
So I'm gonna squash that now. Right now, give me the amount of money within reason you want to coach this job.
I'll tell you why that makes no sense. Because if you did that with Juan Soto, let's say, right? You think Juan Soto would have got to $805 million? No, it's because he had the two richest teams in the sport arguably going at it for his services, so it drove up the price.
You're saying it makes no sense for Vrabel to do that.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm saying
I see what you're saying.
Look, from a Jet perspective, I would love for them to get it done today, but it's not going to happen. Mike Vrabel, I don't think would agree to the job today, even if you offered it to him. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Then the offer goes away forever, and I hire Flores.
See, I wouldn't do that. But
Flores is my next interview.
I think there's a drop off. There's a drop off to me between Vrabel and everybody else. I think he's the most experienced, proven candidate. I like Brian Flores. I'd be in on that, but I'm not just gonna be like, all right, see you later, Mike. I'm just gonna go talk to Flores, who you can't even talk to yet anyway, because the Viking season is still ongoing.
Oh, yeah.
And if they get the 1 seed, which every Jet fan should be rooting for, then you could talk to him during the bye week.
You can talk to him during the bye week? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a weird glitch in the. Okay. All right. That's fine. Yeah. Would they be able to hire him? Because he would be another minority. Would they be able to hire Flores on the
Also,
spot?
you got to understand something too with Vrabel, and I said this to Fireman Ed. You're not really interviewing him. He's interviewing you. He's asking you the questions.
No, I agree. I agree. But that's why you got to flip it on him, and you got to. Do you want the job? What do you ask the question?
He might not know if he wants the job yet.
Do you want the job?
He might look at it like, okay, I'm intrigued by this job. I have a couple other interviews lined up, and I will be in touch. That's what he's going to say. He's not going to just take the job.
Okay, what are you looking for in those other jobs? Because I believe we all.
I'm going to hear them out. I'm going to hear them out. I'm going to see what they say, what their vision is, meet with the owners. You're making it sound like the Jets could press a button and Mike Vrabel is the coach. If that was possible, I'd say do it. They can't just do that.
You can sell people, which is what I know that.
Which I hope they're doing. Right, you could sell him, but you don't just take the first offer. He's going to talk to other teams. He's going to try and get the most money. That's what you would do as a businessman. That's what everyone would do.
The Angels sat Josh Hamilton down and said, "You're not leaving this room. If you leave this room, the offer's off the table." So now
the Jets aren't going to do that. Oh my God!
But why not? Like, what do you? Is there a better coach
I've explained
out there
it, Gary. Oh my God! It's not up to the Jets.
There is a sale on every call made, right? Either you sell them or they sell you. Who's going to close? That's the only question. You or me? You going to let him close or you going to close?
Beast Breaker's closing.
Everything you want.
Beast Breaker's closing.
Beat Breaker is closing. I get. I'm not going to do the clapping seal part.
What do you mean?
I do want to, but I'm not going to do it because Gator's going to use it out of context, and then it's going to go viral, and then I'm going to have to look at it forever.
I can't, Gary. I mean, have you ever been in any job interview ever? Like, it's not how it works. I want him. I think he's the top guy, but you can't just get him yet. He's going to interview for other gigs. He should. He doesn't know what he's worth. If the Mets went to Juan Soto and said, name your offer, he wouldn't have said $805 million. No one thought that was conceivably possible. You get other teams involved in a bidding war, it's good for his bottom line. All right, one last call before we wrap up a nearly 2.5-hour show. I have the Jake Asman football show at 2 Eastern today, and we'll be back in the 5 p.m. hour today for our second show on the day, Jetwise.
Warning! Warning! Allen alert! Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning! Allen alert! Hide the children!
Hey, what's going on, Jake? I will address me leaving the show secondly, but I actually am, so that's why.
You're leaving the show?
I am. I'm not going to be on any more YouTube shows starting Sunday.
Ever?
Ever.
No way. Including the Bobby
air.
Midnight program?
On air. I will not be on air.
No way. We're starting with this.
No, I will. No, I said I received an opportunity that prohibits me to being on any more shows.
A job offer?
A job offer within the league, actually, which is pretty funny.
The
But
NFL?
Yeah. NFL, yes.
No way.
I swear to God.
No way.
I swear to God. I do.
Are you working remote or are you moving to New York?
I'm working remote. Yes. I know
Well,
people.
I know you're an accountant, so you're doing taxes for Roger Goodell?
No, it's not an accountant job, but it's something similar to that. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
so why can't you can't still be a fan of the Jets?
I cannot be on
Or the
air.
Lions or the Bills, your other teams?
I can't be on over the air. I cannot be over the air.
Yeah, but on
I can
Bobby's show,
comment.
you can't be on
I
over the air?
can't. No more. Yeah. And it starts Monday, so that's actually a consultant role. Yes. So
No way.
I swear to God.
Wow. All right. Well, I obviously I'm sure this is a nice promotion for you in your life. So congrats on the job. That's crazy.
Well, I appreciate it. No, that's actually it's a second job. Actually, I actually have my own job. So this is a consultant job. So I'm doing 2 opportunities.
Wow.
Yes. So as much as you think I'm obsessed with you, Jake, I'm really not. But I appreciate
So
it.
you're just gonna be in the chat commenting?
Occasionally, but not as often as I did.
Wow. This is. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're teling the truth, because I have my
am
doubts.
telling-
Congratulations.
you can have your doubts all you want, but yeah, I am telling the truth. Okay. Couple of comments, and I'm going to disagree with Gary on this take. If the Jets and the Patriot jobs were both open, the Patriot job is a better job right now. There's no meddling owner. He does not meddle. Okay. He does not, like Woody Johnson. They have a young stud quarterback, even though you don't think he's a stud yet. He's a young stud quarterback. They're going to have the number 1 pick, most likely, which they can get for a haul. And they also will have $132 million in cap space. That is right now the better job. And until Robert Kraft goes on the air and basically says, Gerard Mayo is my coach next year, I truly believe that Mike Vrabel will be their next head coach. I don't buy it. What happened last week in Foxborough, losing 40-7 in front of that fan base and hearing the fans chanting "Fire Mayo" throughout the crowd? I'm telling you one thing. He's definitely conscious of what's going on in his building.
The previous week, though, to be fair, they played the
I
Bills
know they
tight
played
on the
well.
road.
They did play well in Buffalo. I understand that. And there was chatter. If you listen to what Matt Milano said on the sidelines, he's like, man, this guy's going to be problems going forward when he talked about Drake May. He did say that. But again, last week at home, losing 40-7 in front of your fans, the fan base went crazy. And there's been issues throughout the year where some of the veterans have basically tuned him out. So Vrabel going back there makes a lot of sense because he's not going to be the guy following Belichick. He's going to be the guy following Mayo. So it's a perfect opportunity. So if I was him, that would be the job I would take.
I mean, they passed on him last year. I wonder if he holds
They
any.
did pass
any...
on him last year. They did.
They chose Gerard Mayo, who they would make one and done over Mike Vrabel. If I'm Mike Vrabel, I'd be like, this owner might be a moron if he would choose that guy over me. Just saying.
He might be a moron.
You know, if that was the Jets, you'd be throwing that as one of your arguments why he wouldn't take the Jet job in that scenario. You know, you'd be all over that narrative.
I would. But again, if there's an opportunity to take the Patriot job to coach a young quarterback with all that's in front of him, I would take that job over the Jet job. I really would. And another thing, I heard Hamburger mention this. Please, no more Rex Ryan talk. Does he remember how that ended? The last couple of years of Rex Ryan here was a disaster.
Not 2013. That team went 8-8 with no talent.
I understand that, but they were also 4-12 down the stretch.
I mean, look at that roster, though. Isaac and him were not aligned. That was the problem. You got to keep. They should have kept Tannenbaum with Rex. It all fell apart after that.
I agree with that, but didn't he lobby for Quentin Copels over Chandler Jones?
100%. But that's what I'm saying with Rex. It can't just be like, oh, you're giving your organization to Rex. Like, you got to have a real general manager that could pick the talent. It can't just be Rex being like, I gave Quentin Copels a workout and that's the guy. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. Okay, so please no more Rex Ryan talk. The Flores talk is very interesting, especially if they win this week. Again, he's a tough-nosed guy. He's from Brooklyn. He'd love to stick it to the Dolphins. He's really done a great job with the Viking defense. I mean, look at the job they've done in free agency, bringing in 2 stud edge guys in Van Ginkel and Grenard. So give him credit. But he's done such a great job with that defense. He would be a guy I'd put at the top of the list right now, but because I think he'd be really motivated to come back to the AFC.
Jersey Joe will not miss you. He says, your takes piss me off, bro. Bum.
Well, I appreciate Jersey Joe. You should be very excited. I'm not coming back. So guys like BMAC and Meathead and Delusional, they'll have really a lot of fun without me on the show. So God
Nick
bless
Shine
them.
writes in. Prediction, ego's too big. He knows he won't win the Asmaniac bracket, so Allen's retiring until April. Love you, buddy. Best of luck.
Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate that. Yes.
You're still going to be in the tournament, though, because you had to call within the last 3 months to be eligible. So you'll still be in there.
I will, but first round out is fine for me now. I will not be on the air after this call on the Jake Asman show. So I know
Jake Quest says, so when Allen comes back, it will be safe to say he got fired.
No, this consultant job right now is for 8 months. So
8 months.
8 months. It's through the off season to the beginning of the next year. Yes.
Wow.
It starts on Monday.
So right after the first 3 and out of the season, you'll be coming in, calling, saying, fire Vrabel, fire Flores. I look forward to that.
I would like to renew. I mean, they said I have a skill set. I know you think I have no brains, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, you definitely have brains. I just think you could be a douche. You're a smart caller. You're a knowledgeable sports fan. But you're also a douche.
I appreciate that as well. But again, to BMAC, there's no more peanut head talk because I'm gone. So I appreciate it. He gets an opportunity to skate by and go after other callers. So Jake, I appreciate everything. The 3-month sabbatical was very helpful for me because I was proven to be right when they fired Saleh, but this is right now an 8-month removal.
Wow.
Going forward. So
if the Jets all of a sudden operate like a functioning franchise, you got to continue to stay away.
I might. You know what? I actually might. I had friends who actually said the same thing. So, but I appreciate it, Jake. Thanks a lot.
Alan, I can't believe it. I still don't even know how to react here. Wow, he's gone just like that. Is that the end of Alan?
Jets, Jets.
Wow. I don't know. You know, it's almost fitting. As Alan departs to the hole for 8 months, a new villain has emerged over the last 2 shows. And he goes by the name of Beastbreaker 666. Unreal. Pat says he will definitely not be missed. Love bites. I'm going to miss that forehead. Bye, Alan. Ralphie, if the Jets hire Ben Johnson, he'll be back. Oscar, W send-off. Tom, Allen needs to go on a retirement tour like Jeter. Chef Kev, he will be back. Last time he said 2 months and it lasted 2 days. South Philly, he'll be back tomorrow. TV, bring on the beast. Rick Kent is Beast Breaker the new Allen. Well, Rick Kent, in your mind, Gator's the new Allen. Curly, we have no more Allen. JV writes in, this whole put people in the hole racket will need a new target. You milked it with Allen. Yeah, we're going to need a new bounty. It can't just be Beast Breaker every day, but it might have to be. I mean, say whatever you want about Allen. Allen does have some supporters in the chat. I don't know if anyone's on Beast Breaker's side besides maybe J Quest. I did not know this was coming. This Allen news here. Malcolm with a super chat for us. I am going to be pounding the table throughout the offseason. Vrabel as the head coach, Dimitrov as the GM. Hopefully Woody does not screw it up. If you tell me that's the power structure, I'm in. Bo says saying the rules racist is racist. I mean, the rule's the rule. That's how I look at it. Like, people want Vrabel to be hired today. You can't do it. Gia's in the house. I hate Beast Breaker. Gia, I'm a big fan of your work. Jay says, didn't Allen say Monken's not coming to the Jets because we passed up on him, but Vrabel will go to New England even though they passed up on him? That's why I brought it up to Allen, that you'd be making the same point as a reason why Vrabel wouldn't come to the Jets if that scenario played itself out. Gia says, I hate Beast Breaker. Yeah. Nick Shine writes in, Jets 4-12. Allen happily walks off into the sunset. Need to rename the realm the Allen Bunker. No, we got to call it Allentown. And just have Allen's voice be singing the words to Billy Joel's Allentown. Gator, that's up to you. Just don't do any more Rick Kent farting videos, all right? I don't like seeing Rick and Gator at odds. Jay writes in, free Allen. Allen banned himself. Jets Worldwide writes in, it's been a good run, Jake. Without Allen, the show is doomed. Yeah, I would say out of the 40,000 subscribers I have, 39 of them subscribe because of Allen's phone calls to this show. I'm sure that's what Allen thinks too. Addison wants it to be called the Allen Asylum. TB writes in Allentown, PA, home of Dorney Park. I've been to Dorney Park more times than probably anyone in this chat. Unless my brother is in this chat, then he could argue he's almost has as many appearances as me. With my camp, we'd go there every year. So I've been to Dorney Park 10 times. Nick Shine says, Allen bountied himself, the ultimate sacrifice. Allen says, I have candidates to take over for me. Allen and I are going to sit down and we're going to discuss who's auditioning for the role of new Allen. I think Beast Breaker right now is the leader in the clubhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe one more call, and then we'll wrap. I got things to do today. Jersey Joe up next. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on? How's the audio right now?
Not great, but there's like an echo of me. So I'm not going to talk. You make your take, Jersey Joe, and then I'll respond.
Hang on. It might be my car. How about now?
Check. Yeah, much better.
Damn. 1 second. Sorry. Technical difficulties. All right. Better?
You're good.
All right. Sorry about that. Where was your camp? Did you mention a while ago it was like Canadensis?
Yeah.
I went to Stroudsburg. I went to college in Stroudsburg. So That's pretty funny.
I can tell
worked
you
up
some
at Bar-
stories off air about some of the days off I've had in Stroudsburg, PA. Fun place to hang out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. Anyway, Alan has to come in and be super negative and then leave. It's like somebody said it before. It's it's like his rite of passage. I remember last year, if I'm not mistaken, he was silent the whole offseason because the hype was back. Rodgers was back. And as soon as they lost to the Broncos, he was back. And it's just like, how can you? I can't, man.
Well,
Like,
he couldn't argue the Jets were going to suck because every move they made at the time we thought made sense. And then he left the show, came back the day they fired Saleh, which was like his dream.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how anybody in the chat or anybody could just sit here and be like, you know what? The Patriots are a better job. Come on. We got Garrett, hopefully. Sauce, we got a lot more depth and talent than the Patriots. I'd argue that, maybe the Bears, you could argue, are a better job than the Jets because there's no uncertainty at quarterback at the moment. But
Even
I'm
their
taking
job
the Bears.
is like, it depends how you look at the rest of the division, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you only take the Bears job if you truly think Caleb Williams is going to be awesome and you could get that out of him. If not, what's so attractive about the Bears job right now? You're the fourth place team in a division that has 3 11+ win teams right now.
That's true. I mean, nobody's going to want to come and say, oh, yeah, let's go to the Jets because they got Buffalo. We're always playing against Buffalo twice a year. And until Allen's gone, that team's always going to stay relevant, as you can see this season. Is perfect season. Josh Allen is just the game changer. And good coaching, obviously. But I would still come to the Jets over that you're playing, Vikings, who they should sign. Seeing Sam Darnold there makes me cry because he's like the ex-girlfriend that broke up with you. And you just loved her so much, and then now they're out happy, and you're just like, damn, I feel good for Sam. You know what I mean? He deserved that. And Josh McCown, oh man, the Jets. Anyway, but I put the Jets at 2. I could argue the Bears just because of quarterback and like they have a solid defense. Granted, the division, and then I put Patriots at I don't know, I guess 3 or 4. I don't know. It's tough.
I think the Jets are an attractive job if they sell it the right way, and I think the fact that they don't have a GM is actually helpful for a guy like Vrabel because he's made it clear his relationship with the GM is important to him. So find out who he wants to work with and hire one of those guys if he's your number one.
Yeah, absolutely. Get Vrabel in, let him just do what he needs, and I think that'll we go from with this roster even without somebody like if we had Aaron or whoever quarterback, I think we at least have 7 wins, 8 wins. You know what I mean? With Vrabel and his coaching staff, and who knows, maybe even more because look, like we've been talking about, look what he did with Tannehill, and I don't know. He just
I think they could have been a playoff team this year if they had a real head coach. I don't think the Jets' issues are all talent. Do they have some issues with the D-line this year? Sure. Do they have some issues with some depth in some places? Absolutely. But what team doesn't? There's enough talent here to be good. Certainly be better than 4-12. I mean, look at the Jets' point differential compared to some of these other bad teams, right? Yeah. It's like they're honestly probably one of the better 4-12 teams. How many 4-12 teams have the lead in the fourth quarter and have blown it 6 times? Like, that's crazy.
Absolutely. And good job on the radio. I was tuning in because I have the early commute usually when I go to work. And just talking about the Giants, I know this isn't a Giants show, but my buddies are Giants fans, and they're scared. They're scared for Sunday because
they're gonna win.
I think so too. I think they're gonna blow their chances for anything good. There's gonna, God, I wouldn't want to be a Giants fan right now, but I mean,
screw them. They deserve it.
Yeah, well.
they've seen Super Bowls. We haven't. Screw them.
Well, that's true. That's what I say to about the Browns and the Lions fans. They've had some bad seasons. 0-16 with the Lions, but they've seen playoffs. Look at the Lions now. I mean, and the Browns. They're having one bad year, but they got Stefanski. He's good, and I don't know what they're going to do about Watson, but they're all well off. The Jets are just. We have it the worst. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says.
Of course we do. We don't even have our own stadium.
Had it the worst. Yeah, exactly. But all right, Jake. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Thank you, sir.
Jersey Joe, thank you, man. Appreciate the call as always. Thanks for listening to the radio show. I'm on the radio Sunday. I might be doing a double dip. I might be on Mad Dog Radio on Sirius from 9 to 1 before the NFL games, and then on the radio after the Ranger game. So like 6:30 to 8 as the Jet game's wrapping up, and then we'll do the YouTube show right at 8. So no days off. No days off. Hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Gift the membership if you want a raffle ticket. I'm upping the prizes, by the way. We're going to have something I think a lot of you want. It was a huge hit the last time we had one of these that we were raffling away. I believe I have secured another replica Jet Super Bowl III ring. And that will be one of the prizes. So, stay tuned for more info on that during the later show. Anyway, thank you all for your support. My name is Jake Asman. This has been another enthralling, thrilling Jake Asman program. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Couldn't have done it without you. I will talk to you guys soon. I end the show with a message to all. Go Jets, and please get us Mike Vrabel. Also Allen, if this is truly it. Farewell, ya bum.
Allen is back? Whoa!
I didn't want to call, but I thought it was necessary today.
I'm more of a comment guy than a call guy. There's a lot of Jet content creators and a lot of regular Jet callers. Chef Kevin, he's a nice guy. He hates 98% of my takes, but that's his prerogative. So yesterday he talked the kumbaya claim that everybody should trust Robert Saleh. Oh, Robert Saleh this and Robert Saleh that. To me, when I watch Robert Saleh, I see a guy who lacks head coaching instincts. Please do not talk to me and other Saleh haters. They are winning games in spite of this coach, okay? The pom-pom Jet fans. I know B-Mac, he's in his own universe. I think he's arguing with himself 90% of the time. I get a lot of the hate throughout a lot of these Jet contents because I speak the truth. This is a loser franchise. I'm sorry to say this to a lot of you pom-pom Jet fans. This team hasn't won shit in my lifetime or in, I'll say 90% of Jet fans who watch these shows lifetime.
I will speak to you in about 2 months.
There's Allen. Wow. He came and he went. I know Jake Asman is definitely going to see that today before his show.
At the beach laughing my ass off. All I have to say is lose out. Clean fucking house and draft Joe Alt. Merry Christmas to all the Saleh truthers. All of you delusional Jets fans need to know that I am the king of stupid town. I'd rather be the Jake Asman heel than the Robert Saleh truther any day of the week. But it's weird because I don't see myself as a heel. I think I'm a realist.
I don't want to hear none of that shit. You do not root for no damn New England to win shit.
I'm glad to be in Asman's shadow realm.
Into the shadow realm you go.
Aaron Rodgers is a glutton for fame. I don't think he loves his teammates. I think he loves attention.
GFY. First word is go, and the last word is yourself.
Boom.
Now look what you've done, Alan. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
Jets, Jets, Jets.